Yeah. Well, it was the end of a fight where we left off. We'll get into the primary here in just a second too, to some small stuff. But I put this in Discord earlier, but I've got to work at 2:30 at 2:30 a.m. So not long after we're done, basically. So it'll probably be a little bit on the short side as far as session goes, because I need to try to get some sleep beforehand, because I won't be able to sleep much afterwards. So. Okay, for primer here, a couple things. The alternate exhaustion rules. Did anybody look at that yet? In the Embers channel. It's in the Embers channel. So I like those, but I wanted some feedback first to make sure that everybody's kind of on board. I don't want to apply them if people don't think that that's fair. Or if we need to make some adjustments or whatever is fine too. I haven't implemented them yet. I just wanted to get some feedback on them first.
Ugh, level 3, level 4?
What?
Of exhaustion?
Yeah, so I mean, how they are now, it's a little more punishing, really. It's just that it kind of
isn't level 3 like death or level 4 death?
No, it's 5. I think it's 5 actually. It's death normally. So this actually gives you, like one more level of it essentially. But the kind of stages of them are a little bit more realistic and a little more universally applied, I guess is how I'd say that. Like as the regular version of it unfairly disadvantages martial characters, so anybody that's kind of melee focused or strength focused for that matter, and it doesn't really impact casters very much. Whereas it seems like exhaustion obviously has mental effects as well. It would slow you down mentally, meaning that spellcasting should be reduced.
I actually like it. I think speed would be one of the big ones that should have been halved.
Yeah, exactly. And speed is halved, I think, at level 3 normally. So I mean, it does happen there too, but it's a little more fair, it seems like, in this way. But because of the penalty dice thing, how that works is you basically anytime you're rolling a d20, you'd be applying that kind of penalty to it as well, and then that penalty grows as you get more exhausted. So it seems a little more universally fair to me. So.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Fox, you good with that one?
I don't really understand it all, but sure. I think
I
read it when you first posted it. I'm like, oh, okay, but
you don't get hardly exhausted anyway.
Yeah,
in fact,
me neither. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, for you guys, it's not too bad. Especially, I mean, you fucking sleeping in a backpack and then riding in a cart and shit is probably less so for you. I'll put that in then before next week, and then Fox, I can go over it with you if you want. Ben, you should have had 4 rages on Norok when you hit level 6. So you should have known that. That's up to you guys to know what your things do, not up to me. So if you had noticed or if you'd looked at it on your sheet, you would have known that. So I updated it for you, but just keep that in mind that when you guys level up, that there could be things that I missed. So it's kind of up to you guys to know when you're supposed to get upgrades and shit. But it is fixed for you now, so you have 4 rages available. You have 3 left of the day, but you have 4 total.
Did my rage damage go up? I'll have to look, because it goes up periodically.
I don't think it did, but let me double check actually, because I didn't look for that. I just looked at when I saw the number of rages. Rage damages stays at +2 until level 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so not yet. Speaking of, though, it'll probably be 2 to 3 more sessions or so, thereabouts, before you guys level up again. Most of it is level 4 spells for Sarah, Arteme, and Pogo. You guys will have access to level 4 spells. So just have an idea of what spells you want to take. For Arteme, obviously, it's not a choice, since it's basically just the spells you'll prepare for the day, but you'll have access to all the level 4 spells. For Norok, I don't remember what the level 7 thing is for Barbarian off the top of my head. But keep those in mind. I don't think it was choice, things to be concerned about as far as choice, though. There might have been. It might have been an ASI, actually, for Norok. For Arteme, though, I put the 2 alchemic formula on your sheet that we talked about already. Those are on there for you. One of them, for the one being for reducing exhaustion, could be potentially handy if that comes up. But that's something that Norok would probably choke down pretty often, I'm sure. But I have another 4 or 5 or so already that I need to add on there. I just haven't kind of balanced them a little bit yet. But I'll go over that with you too later on.
Okay.
All right. So where we left off, the Vabians had breached the wall. You guys helped push them back, and the Crowblinders, along with the Wiccan twins, kind of patched the wall up. It is the beginnings of a pretty heavy storm. You guys, you've seen this coming the entire previous day, of course, that it was that the rain was already getting heavier and heavier, and it's the thunder and lightning has started. Where is my thing for that? Give me just a second.
Which one of y'all casted that spell that made the grass turn to sharp knives? Who did that?
Fox?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you awake, Fox?
Yeah, I just have a bit of background noise, and I did not catch that there was a sound effect.
Oh yeah, there was a
I was
drum.
Pogo was asking who casted that spell that turned the ground into sharp spikes. That really saved our ass. That was fantastic. I like that.
That was me.
That was neat.
I don't think Fox is fully conscious today.
I was just peeking around the corner and I kept seeing these crazy fucking zombie things just trying to get through these spikes and just shoving up through their feet and they couldn't move. It was hilarious. I loved it.
It works well.
Yeah. It's very functional.
All right, so you guys have the storm is kind of getting heavier and heavier. Of course, it is early afternoon. I think it was about 3 o'clock on Towers Day. There you are. Of course, the message that Arteme received earlier in the day, Maievi has been captured and it says she's being tortured. And then, of course, Norok has Sorsha, the Albashar, back at his little kind of impromptu camp, and she is beginning to wake back up. So, what do you guys want to do?
Hey,
You are
Norak.
still a little bit beat up, so.
Hey, Norak, do you think your lady friend is okay, or do you think we should probably go see if she's eating people?
Yeah, we should probably go check.
All right.
Make sure she's not getting in trouble.
And I'm gonna kind of run along beside Norak.
Okay. You
Since
did,
I'm so
Pogo, when you were right as the wall blew up, you were actually trying to head back with a bowl of stew, and then the wall blew up, and you kind of just, ran and dropped it.
Yeah, that's right.
To try to feed her. But when you guys arrive back at Norok's little impromptu camp built on this wooden embankment, like a chunk of the stone wall, she's still there, and she is still tied up. She like her head is kind of lolling back and forth, and her eyes keep occasionally opening and then closing again. But she's still there. Like, she's obviously very groggy.
Norak, do you want to hang out with her and I can go get some more broth since I spilled mine in the muck back there?
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then,
All right. What's the pretty blonde girl's name? The one who works at the bar?
Rook. Yeah.
Rook. All right, I'm gonna go find Rook and find yourself some soup. I'll be back.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, so Norok, she's still there, of course, and she's kind of just, her head is like, it seems like her head is almost too heavy for her neck. It keeps kind of falling off to one side, and then she'll kind of wiggle a little bit and then try to hold her head back up, and it just falls back over again. You remember her from before. You remember her being very pretty for a human, but she's very ghoulish, of course, now. Like the sickly taut skin. Her hair is just kind of bone white, and it's missing in these wide patches all around her head. Fox just dropped out.
Oh no!
She was having network problems already, so she's probably still.
Should we all go make a drink?
I've got to take a break at 7 for a second anyway.
Oh, okay. We'll wait till 7 then.
Yeah, it's still a ways off.
Hey, there she
she's
is.
back.
Yay.
You have a network trouble?
Refreshing.
Okay.
Hi.
It could have just been Discord because it was network, or it sounded like network latency, but it was specifically Discord earlier that you were sounding all choppy. So, any better now?
Do I sound better now?
You sound fine right now. It did cut out there for a second, but like when it's not cutting out, you sound normal.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound fine so far. So, but Norok, her hair is just missing in these big patches, like it's just fallen off of her head. And there's these kind of black oozing pustules that are all over her, like at her elbows, and it looks like they're probably around her knees and the corners of her mouth. That are all kind of weeping this black ooze. And it's just elicits kind of obviously a lot of revulsion, but also a lot of pity because you didn't know her before. You didn't necessarily like her, of course, but you did know her. But she's there and semi-conscious. So what are you doing?
All right, I'm going to pull out some water and kind of grab her, like, almost like scruff of the neck kind of thing, to make sure she can't twist around and try to fucking bite me or something, and see if I can tilt her head back and see if she'll take a little bit of water gently.
Well, it is raining pretty hard, so I mean,
okay, so I can just open her mouth.
Yeah, if you just tilt her head back, it's probably gonna happen anyway.
I'm gonna do that then.
Okay.
Again, just like gently, but having a nice force. If I need to grab hard on her head, she tries to whip around and try to bite me. Otherwise, as gentle as possible, but ready to if I need to grab her head so she doesn't, try to fucking bite my finger off.
Okay.
Well, the good news is you're basically a giant monster, so you should be able to hold her head.
Yeah, all like 50 pounds of her, hopefully.
But that being said,
Too
there's also the concern of her, reacting to.
Oh, she snapped in half!
Yeah, specifically for that reason, give me a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
You can roll it with advantage because she's not trying to pull away from you or anything. She's still groggy. It's just a matter of her because she's obviously very fragile, and you could accidentally break.
The least sexiest way to break a girl in half right there, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't mean to literally do it.
You kind of tilt her head back, and where the rain is hitting, she keeps kind of jerking her head, trying to pull her head away from your gestures. But it's not. As soon as you recognize what's happening, it looks like it's hurting her when the raindrops are hitting, the sores in the inside of her mouth where her tongue has been bitten off. So it's difficult to get her to kind of hold still for a second because it's probably painful. But you are able to kind of hold her still, and there's just no strength in her to be able to try to fight back. So she's kind of just lets it happen, basically, of trying to hold her, to force her to essentially drink the rainwater.
Okay.
She's just groaning. But she started, you can see as her eyes kind of roll back in her head a little bit. At first, you think that her eyes are just rolled back completely because you're only seeing the kind of whites of her eyes, and then you realize the pupil is there. It's just so cloudy and covered in disease, cataracted over, that there's just this kind of milky sheen over her eyes. You can't tell if she can even see you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just try to get her some water for a minute, and then I'll let her go. And, obviously still keep an eye on her, but wait for Pogo to come back. So.
Okay. Then she kind of just, when you let her grow, she groans and kind of leans forward and is kind of tilting her head downward, trying to, keep the water from hitting her in the face, it seems like, and is just sitting there groaning.
Okay.
Pogo?
Have I gotten to the bar and have I found
Yeah, it's not far. It was right around the corner. You step inside. It's nice and warm in there. People, playing dice poker and so on. You don't see Rook behind.
Boy,
the
everyone
door,
calmed down pretty quick after that, didn't they?
So you
Did
guys
you
weren't
finish fighting
there
the
for...
zombies? Let's go play some dice.
That's actually been happening pretty regularly. You guys, you'd heard about it already. Basically, they keep forcing a way through the wall because the walls are just made of mud, and especially when it starts raining again like this, it's weakened spots, so they end up blowing it up and then try to break through, and that's why the interior, the inside of the wall, there's a line of soldiers all the way around the perimeter of the whole place. So that wasn't a surprise. Basically, it's just a matter of time until it happens again.
So since Pogo never got attacked in that entire skirmish, he's just gonna walk in there and be like, murdered some of those fucking things coming through that wall over there. That was crazy. And I'm gonna walk up to Rook and I'm gonna say, so
she's not
thank
there.
you for this. Oh, she's not there.
No.
Do I know where the soup is?
The guy that's behind the counter is the same one that was there earlier in the day. But I mean, even when you walk in, he probably looks over, sees you, and says, "Hey, Gleeman, you here to relieve some spirits?"
You know what? Do you have any soup, like a brothy soup I can just take for a snack?
I mean, I suppose I was really hoping you would, might play us a ditty, kind of, liven up the place a bit.
Well, tell you what, I'll do that if you can get me. While I'm doing that, if you can get me a nice bowl of soup, it would be fantastic.
On the house, sure.
All right. Is everyone ready? And Pogo's gonna go jump up on a table, trying not to interrupt anyone's game.
Okay.
Well, that was a fun fight we all had, wasn't it all? Woo! Did you have fun? All right. Well, I'm here to entertain you here for a few minutes, and I'm gonna use my little magical hat to
Hat of disguise.
Hat of disguise to cover myself in kind of like the warrior, the same kind of outfit that they're wearing, the same fighting outfit that they have.
Like a Probander's uniform?
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and sing them a ditty, since it's on my mind. Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentle Irishman, mighty Odyssey, no broke so soft and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried the hard. Tim had a sword of a tipping way, with a love and a liquor, no, he was born, helping on his work each day, had a drop for the cather every morn. Ah!
Throughout that, about maybe a third of the way through, there are tankers clanging against wooden tables and everything as they're trying to start to sing along and clap and everything, clearly enjoying the entertainment for it. Behind you, there's two different tables. They're trying to call you over, trying to get you to come, play dice with them, because you remember you had played with a group earlier in the day. But the guy comes back to the counter behind you, the guy who was kind of holding bar, at least in the meantime. And he's holding a bowl, and it's not like, it's really the inside of like almost a shield, like it's a pot, like it's more like a pot or a pan or something. It's not really a bowl. It's clearly they just run out of stuff, and here's a container you can use to drink out of.
Sure.
But it's quite large for you. But he kind of hands it over. You're gonna have to hold it with both hands, basically.
Oh, that's fine. I can hold it with both hands. I'm gonna take. Do I have to use my hands to control the hat?
I don't think so.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sprightly jump off the table, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to use the hat to put back my normal clothes and armor, and then I'm going to thank him heavily and give him a tip, or kind of give him a wink, and then I'm going to use my little halfling feet to stroll out of there as quickly as I can to get help back to Norok.
All right, he just nods at you with your kind of tips an invisible hat. He's not wearing one at you as you walk out. Making your way out into the rain, that bowl is very rapidly overfilling.
I'll just sip on it as I'm going. I'm not going far. I'm just.
Yeah. Let's see if you can match the pace of the rainwater filling the bowl.
I don't care.
It's going to be some awfully diluted soup by the time you get there.
Quote unquote soup.
Yeah. All right, you make your way back over to Norok's little temporary camp area. The rain is getting heavier and heavier, and Norok, she is outside with you in the rain. Your tent is pretty small, but it doesn't. I mean, sitting out there is going to start getting uncomfortable for her very soon. Yogg are kind of used to just sitting out in the weather, so for you it's kind of normal. But up to you. What are you doing? You see Pogo walking back over carrying a bowl that is just splashing soup up into his face constantly because the rain keeps mashing into it and then splashing back up at him.
Alright, I'll wave him over, and then I will kind of pick her up and take her in the tent, like just on the inside. I don't stand on the outside.
Okay, give me another sleight of hand with advantage. She's not fighting you, but she is chained up and very weak.
Alright. Then I'll tell Pogo if he wants to, he can stand in there with her so he can get out of the rain, but it's his choice. Because I'm used to being in the weather.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in there with her, and
She does smell so awful that it's hard to not be like it's definitely nauseating being anywhere near her.
Does my constitution check from last time still
Well,
play?
No, for real, that's what it is. It's literally 24 hours. As long once you've succeeded against that stench, then you're immune to it for 24 hours. It's just still unpleasant.
So I was actually thinking about. I would like to sing for her before I help try to give her soup with Norok. I'm going to sing her Song of Rest. It's one of my cantrips.
Okay.
Just to see
it's
if
actually,
that
it's not even a cantrip. That's anytime somebody's taking a short rest, yeah, they take max healing from their hit dice.
So I actually have a song for this.
Okay.
And I'm going to stay safely a few feet away from her, but I'm going to carefully put my face against her. Go to bed, go to sleep. I've had enough of your bullshit. Close your eyes, you little monster, or I'll blister your behind. So I'm just going to sing that little song.
Well, Norok, you were trying to get her to wake up, and Pogo's just sleeping or singing her a lullaby. So, any reaction?
It might help her feel better.
Yeah, it might.
It's a magical lullaby in its defense.
Yeah, that's fine. Maybe have her eat some of that and then let her rest for a little while. Because it seems like it's quiet for a minute, and then we'll wake her up and see if we can get some words out of her.
Okay. All right. Then, well, I mean, she was already asleep for probably, 8 or 10 hours. And then you asked Rook to wake her up, remember? So Rook gave her something to wake her up, and she's still groggy because she woke up too early from the somnolence. Remember, okay, so Arteme gave her a sleeping drought 8 or 10 hours ago. Then she slept through most of that, and then you asked Rook to give her something to wake her up. So you gave her a downer and then an upper, and now you're putting her back to sleep again.
Take that.
All right, well, we'll think on what you guys are doing. What are Sarah and Arteme doing?
So when Arteme relayed Mighty's message, do I get the sense that she means she was taken by the crow blinders?
Make, probably, I would say investigation, really, because you're trying to deduce something. That is not the impression that Arteme got, but with Arteme relaying the information to you, could be different, maybe.
By the way, can you guys hear me eat? Like, have you been hearing me chew this whole time, or is it not?
I heard a couple of bites. I thought it was Ben, but it could have been from you.
Yes, it was Ben. It was not me. I would be uncouth.
Have you guys heard Ben chewing? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I heard a couple of. It wasn't distracting or anything. Justin, it's fine. Yeah, it wasn't enough to be a problem at least.
Let me know if it is.
Anyways, though, you don't really get that impression. Like, it seems like, at least as Arteme relayed the information to you, which, by the way, Arteme, did you, I guess, I don't remember specifically, did you tell her verbatim what Maivi said, or did you just say Maivi's been captured and so on? Did you paraphrase, or did you tell her verbatim?
No, I would have told it for.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, then, yeah, neither of you necessarily have the impression that it was anyone else. Did I hear that was the whole message. So since she told you verbatim, that's exactly what it was.
Okay, so then I don't think it's the crow blinders.
Correct. Yeah, with that investigation check and the information you have about it, it doesn't sound like it, no. And also, your guys's when you went downstairs and found Ozzy, it was clear that he knew. You guys had insight checks there too, I think, but it was clear that he already knew, and was, whether he was concerned or not, you couldn't necessarily pick up, but he was at least not willing to leave to go help at that point.
Okay, and I'm assuming then that convince him is Ozzy trying to help her.
I'm not telling you that. That's up to you guys. That's whether you think that or not. That's up to you guys.
All right, I'm gonna look at my paper. Anything changed?
Where are you? Where are you guys at? Did you go back to your little camp in your tents or something?
I probably would have. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then, assuming you're doing it under, a surface that is going to keep it from getting soaked, this is what it says. Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to share that to everybody, but you guys can read it. Not that it matters. Just
no. Don't worry, Pogo can barely read. I'm actually going to close mine without reading it because I like to be surprised.
Yeah, this is so. I mean, it wouldn't hurt anything if you did, if Justin reads it, but obviously Pogo wouldn't know about it. So. Are you writing anything back? After you've read it, a minute later, the text disappears. Yeah, both Arteme and Sarah, you guys are still dinged up, so Arteme's patching you guys up a bit. Also, Arteme, here in camp, you would have at some point had the opportunity, if you chose to restock your quiver, so you can fill those back up if you want. Did you copy that, Fox?
Yep.
Okay. What are you guys doing? Oh, and of course, Fox's first 2 rolls.
We're both ones.
Look at that. Both ones. I don't know how she manages it.
uncanny. Well, is Norak just still trying to take care of the girl?
It's up to him. He hasn't done anything, so he's just trying to put her back to sleep.
Well, I was just helping, like, to maybe do a little spell.
Yeah, to help. Well, the Song of Rest, would
better.
help her. Yeah, exactly. Like she doesn't have hit dice really, but you know, the allowing the rest to be as recuperative as possible for her.
And it just affects a short rest, so worst case, another 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't lull her to sleep, or you don't have to sleep for a short rest for that to work. It's basically just over the next hour, the natural healing would be elevated for her as all. But much of what's wrong with her is disease and you know, largely amputation at this point.
I think Pogo's curiosity would probably get the better of him, and he would want to go down those stairs that Norak ran down earlier.
Okay.
Because he has not been down that area yet. He only went up with the other girls to talk to Middle-aged Niderson, I believe was his name. I don't know what his name was. The guy he brought the beer to. Then Arteme and
Pepperjack.
Pepperjack.
Yeah, and you have been down there though.
Have I?
Well, it was the way up. When you came in from the outside, you went through that same area.
I'm gonna go check it back out since I've seen Arteme and Sarah run down there, and I've seen Norak apparently kind of run that direction. I'm curious to see what's happening down there.
Okay. Are you gonna burn all of your spell slots, Fox?
No.
You know, we're in camp. There might be other things you could do.
Well, I mean, a short rest. You guys could take a short rest for sure, but she only has 2 third-level spell slots left.
There's the guy with no hands. He looks like he knows how a thing or two.
So then you make your way towards the entrance, basically the same place that you came up from. It looks essentially like a mausoleum, like a small stone box, like a bit, you know, very square kind of building. But as soon as you step in through the front door, there are steep stairs that go very steep, going downward. In fact, like stepping down, especially with the rain slicking, you know, with your feet like muddy and everything, on these steps is very treacherous to even make it down these steps without falling. I mean, you can do it carefully. You just, you know, moving slowly. If you had to run, I'd make you roll a check. But since you can carefully step your way down it,
I'm just gonna slowly walk down these stairs.
But it is packed. Like there are people everywhere. As soon as you make, no, I mean you can. There's room to walk. Basically, there's people against the walls all the way around, with a pathway kind of in the middle to go any direction.
I want to go see what was down there.
As soon as you make it down the steps, there are 3 more stairways that go downward again. One in front, one on the left, and one on the right. The one on the right, you hear. It's clear that it is advanced magic. It's a arcane chanting that is going on. It's echoing up from the stairs to the right, and it's multiple voices. Ahead of you is the way that you came up from originally, and you know that that's where the kind of infirmary area was, where all of the refugees and you know, the wounded were, including the red candle priest that is missing his hands.
Yep.
To the left, you have not been down that way yet.
Oh, I'm gonna go to actually. Yes, I think I would go to the left. If I heard priests chanting, I don't think that would interest me too much. I'm going to go to the left and see what's down these stairs.
There's strong smoke smell coming from it, like a heavy fire, and you can hear a bellows going. You know what a bellows is?
Yep.
And you're hearing metal clanging. Like it's this.
Oh, it's the blacksmithery.
Yeah, it's a
forge.
Yeah. But I mean, you can still go down there. That's just what you're hearing coming from up the stairs.
No. Boring. Doesn't interest me. Yeah, I'm gonna just go back up.
Okay. Well, you head back out into the rain.
I don't imagine any attractive ladies being in either of these locations.
Your best bet would be refugees, but they're mostly starving, and many of them have been pretty severely wounded. So
no.
Not to mention covered in the mud. So
it's only been a few days. I'm not that hard up yet. So I'll go back up to the tavern area. And I'll probably grab a beer. And,
okay.
I might grab a beer, actually, and then I'll head back out to Norak. I'll grab something to drink.
Then what are Arteme and Sarah doing? Having read the scroll from Corn Xantalis.
So, Sarah wanting to help these people, but also needing his help is kind of having trouble with herself right now. She's kind of fighting with herself, but I think she would probably sit down and try to study their sigils.
Okay. You copied your rolls on them were actually pretty good. The 5 that you copied over, go ahead and give me an Arcana check for spending some time studying that. How long are you spending doing that? How just duration-wise? Are you going to sit there for an hour or more?
Until somebody comes to get me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then what is Arteme doing?
I'm gonna
Healing
go...
spirits faded. You guys you're all topped off as far as your wounds are concerned.
By the way, I think Pogo's going to use Mage Hand to try to cover his own head, so he doesn't get quite as soaked. Just walking around with a little magical hand just hovering above him.
You could probably grab like a chunk of wood or something and use a Mage Hand to hold that up.
I'm gonna grab
an umbrella.
Some sort of like a small piece because it can't be too heavy, 10 pounds. I'm gonna grab like it doesn't take much because I'm so tiny. I'm gonna grab something I can find, some piece of scrap, and just hold it above my head while I'm jostling about.
Sure. You find a chunk of discarded like tanned leather that just isn't, it's not in great form, so probably wouldn't be useful for actually making much out of it, just because it's kind of a scrap. But it's certainly enough to cover your head, and you just kind of float that along above you as you walk back.
Pogo is against just stealing something. I'll steal a full nice piece of leather. I don't really care if I see it.
Well, this one had been discarded at least.
All right. Well, I'll take it.
Fox, you would have had the. I'm going to go ahead and apply a short rest for you guys if because you haven't been doing anything too anybody doing anything too heavy anyways. So Fox, you can use your natural recovery if you want to.
That gives me what?
Up to 3 spell levels worth, so you can take 1/3 level spell slot back, or a 2nd level and a 1st level, or 3 first levels.
I'll go like that now.
Okay. Okay, so you took 3 first levels back. Okay, I see. All right, cool. And mark off your natural recovery under your abilities. And then anything else? Just hit the little check marks next to it, the little circle. There you go.
Oh god. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna go hang out in the room that Ozzy's in.
Okay. You make your way down there, and it's exactly what you saw before. Like, he basically he's trying to. It almost looks like he's trying to avoid your gaze, but it's him and 5 other mages that are standing in a circle with the older rock in the middle between them. It wasn't before. Before it was sitting on the floor, but now it's kind of floating up in the space between them. And you go ahead and make an Arcana check on Arteme.
In the tower right now.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it's not a 1.
So close.
Yay.
It's not a 1, but it's 1 point under what the DC would be. But you can't quite see it like Sarah could, but you can sense that there's clearly something that is like an energy that is traveling between the 6 of them and the older rock in the middle, in this kind of large circle around them. But they don't stop. They're constantly drawing these arcane sigils in the air in front of them that as soon as they finish it disappear, and then they start again, just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. All of them are just doing this along with this arcane chanting. You did not see Pogo. Would have been gone by then, so you didn't see Pogo on your way down there.
I'm real glad he didn't, because I would have absolutely had him probably mess that up somehow. As his character. Oh, I'm glad Pogo chose not to go down there.
Yeah, just accident, just by haphazard.
Jeez, change the record, guys. Am I right?
start playing a song just to fuck up their rhythm.
Well, I'm not there to pressure him or anything. I'm just curious as to what they're doing and how long it's going to take to see if we can go help my AD, because I have no idea where she is, no idea how to help her, how to get a hold of her, how to contact her, or I don't even think I have a spell that can contact her.
Do you? I guess you don't, do you? It's mostly arcane spells. I don't think divine casters get. I know clerics can, so druids probably do. Yeah, maybe not. Anyways, though, are you just sitting in the corner, watching them?
I'm just paying attention, trying to figure out see what I can.
Okay, how long are you spending down there?
I don't know.
Well,
so I need to go make food or something, or until Nora comes to get me for help with this run.
Okay. then you just are down there for at least for a little while, anyways, while Sarah is studying for at least an hour. What is Snork doing?
After I let her rest up for a bit, then I will try to wake her up and see if I can get her like somewhat conscious at least.
She didn't fall back asleep. She was conscious the entire time, just groggy. But the grogginess is wearing off more and more. She's still.
You can give her some of this soup that I'm currently drinking. Also, if you want any of that soup.
Yeah, this will.
Girl's got to eat.
See if she can take a little bit at a time for the soup.
That's what he said.
That one is just in though, right?
I was gonna say just
in.
You try to tip the bowl back to kind of force her to drink this, and she just immediately is spitting it away from her constantly, and shaking her head, like trying to pull her head away. It's clear that it stings, like it's there's probably salt in it or something, and she's got open wounds in her mouth.
You know, you're gonna probably have to put it in her butt, Norak. I'm sorry, I don't know any other way. Just gonna have to go in her butt.
Did Pogo go back to Norak's camp, or is he?
Well, that's what I was bored at both directions. I was bored. Didn't want to go and see that, so I walked back to Norak. So there's Norak, a half living creature. That's a person apparently. Bowl of rain soup, and me rethinking about my life decisions.
Well, there you are. She's fighting like as she has no strength, but she's fighting as much as she can because it seems like it hurts.
Yeah, then I'll stop them, and then give her a second, and then see if she recognizes her name.
So I have at least a little idea. She's hungry, right? These human creatures that have been starved. What they're trying to get is food. Is that what I'm? This feels like what I've been kind of the idea behind these people, right?
They're trying to make us into food.
But like, would it help if we kind of kept her chained closely to something and then put like a food in front of her? Would that help her if we just let her wake up and try to eat her? Because you'd think that if it hurts her mouth to eat, she would hurt if she was trying to eat people. So maybe if she ate some other food. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what this thing is, really.
Give it a try. I'll pull out something from my rations, some bread or something.
You should baby bird it. You should chew it up a bit first and then put it on a plate for her.
That's a good idea. I'll just spit it right in her mouth. Who needs
just get it nice and soft. I mean, that's pretty dangerous, but okay. I'm not getting anywhere near a single orifice of that creature there.
She chewed her own tongue off before. Now she's going to end up with chewing Norak's off as well. But
I'll set some bread out and see if she goes for it.
Well, it's raining anyways, so you can kind of soften it up a little bit with the rainwater. Maybe even I don't know whether you would use the soup or not. Actually, no, maybe she was resistant to it from the saltiness.
Yeah.
But giving it to her though, she does. She still won't look you in the eye, as far as you can tell based on what you can see from where a pupil is supposed to be. But she does take it from you and starts kind of gumming it basically. Her teeth are still there, most of them, but it's a slow process of her trying to absorb it. It's almost like she's drinking the water out of it more than she's eating the bread.
Oh,
but she does try.
Okay.
Who's got the spell magical IV?
I don't think anyone. I found a spell that could be useful. If I knew where my IV was, I could send a message.
Which one?
Animal Messenger. It's a level 2 spell.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it has to be a place I visited before, so that's pointless at this point.
Yeah, that wouldn't in this case because you don't know exactly where she is.
Yeah, I don't know where she is. Skyright's useless too.
It's dark. It's not nighttime dark yet. It is about 4:30 p.m. or so at this point. So it'll probably be dark in the next hour. But it is very dark clouds, so it's pretty dark anyways. Skyrite wouldn't be too useful in those conditions.
And I don't think she'd be outside anyway.
Yeah, probably not. But Sorsha chews down as much of this bread as she can. She certainly seems ravenous, but she's like just so weak that she's not like straining against the bonds, trying to pull away or anything.
Yeah, so soak the bread in a little broth, and then chew it up, and then drop it in her mouth. From your mouth. Oh, you know what? I can use Mage Hand. Do you want to use? I can use Mage Hand to feed her.
Just shove it down her throat.
Just to kind of just drop it in there, so she doesn't have to strain or use hands. Because her hands are tied, right? We're not letting her loose.
Yeah, her wrists are tied together. Is
Okay.
What Norark done, so.
Do you want me to use Mage Hand to kind of crumble the food into her mouth, like a baby bird?
Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, just there you go. Just little, some nice squishy bread, and some tasty question mark meat soup. Just
All right, so
going
you guys spend the better part of an hour trying to kind of slowly feed her. Probably 40 minutes to an hour or so at this point. Are you trying to talk to her at all, or I mean, you're gonna at some point, G, you're going to either have to talk to her or just kill her like you were trying to do before, or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, like, in between, like, see if I can, I guess, get her to look at me kind of thing, or get her to recognize me, and then see if she recognizes her name, something like that, see if she responds to anything.
Okay.
Or I'll say, like, I'll ask her, like, does she remember being a nurse, before she got captured, minor stuff like that, see if she responds to anything.
Okay, then before saying her name, just asking her if she remembers any of this stuff, like she starts, and you can tell that, like, when she kind of turns her head too quickly, that it immediately, you can tell that like hurt her, like that's how weak she is, and she kind of, like, it's she's stiff first for a moment, she's still not, raising her head up to look at you, but she reacted, basically. You definitely saw that she reacted to whether she remembered being a nurse.
Okay. And I'll say, when you were helping the Antaros tribe, and then I'll say, I can't remember where the area is, the plains or whatever, the mountains that I'm from. I can't remember the name.
It's the You're from the Cork and Kerry Mountains.
Okay. Yeah, from the Antaros tribe in the Cork and Kerry Mountains, the tall folk like me. Do you remember helping to birth a child? And I actually don't remember the Norark's girlfriend's name either, but I'll say the name you remember.
You wrote it!
I know, and I don't remember what it was. It was a long time ago.
Her name was Lacerda.
Okay, yeah. And do you remember birthing a child with the doctor?
She's very still for a minute. Like, as soon as she kind of froze in place after you asked her if she remembered, she sits very still, and then a long pause goes by, probably a good 15-20 seconds, which is an eternity when you're like waiting for a response from somebody that's just sitting there kind of ignoring you, and then just a very subtle nod.
Hey, that's progress. Look at that.
And I'll say good. Thank you. Do you know where the doctor went that was with you, that you were helping?
And just so you know, you're safe. You're in a safe place. No one's gonna try to eat you, so please return that favor.
She, after another long pause, kind of strains her neck up a little bit to try to look up at you, at Norark.
Oh, don't bite him.
I'll kneel down just a tad, so it's easier.
All right, then, with her eyes open like that, kind of almost like a you guys have, I don't know if you've ever actually seen these, but like a body that's been in water for a long time. There's nothing to the eyes anymore. How it's just washed over. Like, you can't see where the pupil's supposed to be. It just looks like it's just covered in white cloud. But she does kind of try to. She would be catching your gaze if you could actually see any eyes there. But when you kind of kneel down, she tries to kind of make eye contact with you. She does nod very subtly again.
Okay. I'll say, all right. Is he in? They came from. No, actually, I don't know where they came from. Huh? Shit. All right, we have to think for a second. So, if you want to see what somebody else is doing, I'll think of a way to.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing she's pretty much yes or no for the most part.
Pogo!
Right? Seems like,
Pogo might feel like he's not where, like a little out of place in this conversation. Pogo's probably
Actually,
gonna, unless you need me.
I'll actually, I'm gonna, before you go, Pogo, do you happen to have a pen and paper on you? 'Cause
Oh,
I don't think Norark would carry that kind of shit with him.
that's a great question. Let's see. Nope.
I mean, I would say that that's probably within the normal things that Pogo might carry, like the
Oh
incident.
yeah.
One of us can go grab some, I'm sure.
I mean, all you really need is a piece of. Aren't we in like a? Isn't this place kind of burned down? Like all you really need is a. Tell you what, here, take this piece of leather that I've been using as a cover, and here's a piece of charcoal that you can use to write. And I'll maybe take my dagger and just make a little usable item out of some charcoal that's probably laying everywhere that they could use to write on that.
There's enough that even if you went back to the quartermaster, Rook if she were there, but back to the quartermaster that's filling in the meantime, that they could get you a quill and some ink.
Oh, okay.
Temporarily, so
I think I saw some quill and some ink over there. I'll just go grab that. So I'll go bring that back to Mark.
okay.
Pogo will.
Then do you need more time, G?
Oh no, I was just gonna ask her where the doctor is and see, and let one of her hands loose and see if she can write it for me on there, so we can come back to that. But that's what I was gonna do.
And I'm gonna drop that off, and then I'm gonna go talk to Pepperjack about what his plans are.
Okay. Give me a. This is a little bit not retcon. What's the word I'm looking for? Rolling back slightly, I guess. Pogo, give me a persuasion check. Okay. This was to when you asked her not to eat you.
Not eat us. I was wondering if I was gonna roll on that.
Anyways, all right. So Pogo, then you drop off the quill and take off to go try to track down Pepperjack. What are you asking her, G? So you've untied one hand. She kind of looks up at you. The ties are still kind of between her wrists, but they're separated enough that she could grasp the pen or the quill that you've handed her. What is it that you're asking her?
I'm going to ask her if you know where the doctor is. Can you tell me where he is? What town you saw him in last? What area?
She writes back, and it takes her a long time. Like the scribbling is very jagged, and like there's tremors in her hands. Like she can't write smoothly, of course. But it takes her a while, and she writes Theos. You know what? Here, I'll put it in here for you. There, that's what she writes.
All right, I will look after I read that over. I'll look at her and nod and say.
She keeps going. After you've read that, she pulls the paper away from you, and she continues writing.
Okay. Then I will obviously not resist and give it back to her.
Oh shit. There you go.
Okay. I'll say thank you. I know it's I'm sure you did all you can, and I still want to see if I can find him unanswered questions, so I really appreciate your help.
She nods at you and is making a gesture of like back to her mouth, like she's trying to like food.
I'll pull out some more of what I have and set it out for her, soften the bread, that kind of stuff, help as much as I can.
God,
And
Norak would make such a weird nurse.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he is a 7.5 foot tall or 8 foot tall, like giant barbarian guy.
Yeah.
Probably would be a little bit uncoordinated when it comes to medical care, anyway.
well, probably wouldn't make a very good proctologist. My hands are really big. So.
I picture him like picking up a little piece of bread, dipping it in the broth, and then dropping an entire loaf of bread on her face.
Yeah.
Well, wrong piece. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. So we'll is Nora going to do something else?
No, not at the moment.
All right. All right. Then you stay with her for some time, trying to get as much information as you can out of her, and we can come back to that if you have more questions for her.
Okay.
For Pogo, going to track down Pepperjack.
I'm gonna go back
you
where
do-
we last found him. See if he's there.
Where he is still in the command tent. You step inside. He is standing over the map, table looking down at it. There were two different people that stepped out of the tent and walking away through this kind of dark, muddy area where you could probably see faces, but you didn't recognize them. And they were leaving just as you were stepping inside. The tent flap still open. He leaned over the mattress, looking down at it. He looks up at you, says, "What can I do for you, Sir Gleeman?"
Well, I don't know if you know, but we just apparently killed some of those crazy fucking things coming through the wall over here. Does that happen a lot? Is that a normal thing?
He says, yeah, I was aware, and unfortunately, yeah, that's the reality of a siege environment when you don't have real walls.
Interesting. I was actually wondering, we were able to dispatch quite a few of those baddies, but if I had something like, and I'm going to pull out my rapier slowly and show him, if I had something a little better than this, I might be able to do a little more help, And I was wondering, I heard you had a forge down the stairs. Is there any way I could get a better piece of equipment than this?
He squints slightly. Go ahead and make a persuasion check. You did 15.
Oh, wait!
Oh.
No, I didn't.
No. I said you need to beat a 15.
Yeah, but I don't roll ones, remember?
Oh, shit. God damn it. All right, well, let's see what happens. I don't roll ones, remember?
Boom!
Well, okay, hang on. I did say beat a 15, and you rolled a 15, so... he kind of squints a little bit. He says, "I'm afraid most of the steel my men use are going to be a little bit heavier than what your..." He kind of looks over at you, what your arms can carry. I mean, we can maybe look for something, but I don't know that I'm going to have...
So, you don't have an area with, children's weapons or anything?
For all the children we arm?
Just wondering. I mean, at this point, we might want to think about giving the children some weapons.
He says, "Your big friend, can you ask him if he's got a spare toothpick or something? That might be more your style."
Yeah. No, that's not actually that bad of idea. Have you seen him? He's a fucking monster of a man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, back in the Battle of the Blossoms, we had some of his folk on the other end, and let me tell you, that was not a fun time.
Yeah, wouldn't recommend that. Anyways, so, okay, strike out on the new possible weapon then. Can you tell me, we've been working and we got apparently this magic item that I think some of your wizards are working on down in the basement. Do you know what their plan is? What kind of time frame are we looking at here? Are you in that loop?
I mean, that loop is one I designed, so yeah, I mean, by simple order, yes, but as far as how long it takes, that's not exactly my talent set to know how the arcane arts work, but as they've told me, we have at least 3 more days, and if we could get some more mages in there, that could speed up. If we lose any, it'll slow down. But the problem is that we can't afford to let them stop. I mean, they can't stop to eat, they can't stop to rest, and you can see how that can be problematic.
So, do we have options for more mages? Is there some way? I mean, I don't know how you're going to get more people here. Is there? You said more mages, we could get some.
So, you know what? Make a flat charisma check. You know what? It's not exactly persuasion. I'd say charisma, but I'm gonna make the DC a little bit lower because you're persuasive, but this isn't really a persuasion check. So
sure,
just make a flat charisma check. Okay. He says, "I shouldn't exactly be telling you this, but to be honest, we could all be dead tomorrow, so we might as well just be all on the same page here. I have, let's say, scouts out there that are trying to bring us in some more help, and if they can successfully make it back, we may survive this. But our only hope is bringing the Crow Fort here, and the more mages we have, the better for that."
So, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't seem a hell of a lot better in here than out there. Maybe I can go talk to the people I'm with and see if we could help out your scouts. Would that be something you'd appreciate? I don't really feel like spending 3 more days in this, any gestures generally to the sky, fucking pissing down in the mud everywhere. This, not really. And then if we could speed this process up, we might as well try. Is that something you might like?
I'll tell you, the scouts that are out there, you wouldn't be able to find anyway. They're not nearby.
Well, anything else we could do? I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't find that hot bartender, and I'm getting a bit bored.
He doesn't. He looks back down at the map. He doesn't really seem to react too much. He says, "I'm afraid that this isn't the most entertaining of times. I mean, if anything, that's kind of your profession, not mine. I don't really know what to tell you there, Gleeman."
Aye, all right. Well, tell you what, I'll go entertain. You keep up the good work here. Enjoy your map.
He says, "Oh, and he looks at the tankard. It's empty now, of course, but he says, and thanks again for that."
Go anytime.
Sorry, you keep saying Gleeman. What does that mean?
A gleeman
right?
is a no. A gleeman is a like a traveling, not really a minstrel. So basically, like do you know what a bard is? Like what the word bard, where it comes
Traveling entertainer.
from? Yeah, like a gleeman is somebody who travels town to town, entertaining people, like telling jokes, doing magic tricks, juggling, things like that. That's a gleeman.
Oh, okay.
So like exactly how Justin kind of created Pogo. That Pogo is this traveling entertainer that goes around and tells stories and sings songs and all that kind of stuff. Basically, a traveling entertainer that makes his money by doing just that. So think of like traveling circuses and that kind of stuff. Those are gleemen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just curious because I've never really heard it before. It depends on what you.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was actually a slur because the only other person that had said it was,
it is used derogatorily. It's
was Samson.
that. It is usually used derogatorily. It's like basically it's saying that you are so skillless and so incompetent at like man's work that you go around singing songs instead.
I'll take it.
So no, it's not always like that's still everybody still enjoys going to a fun concert type of a thing, right? So I mean it's not always considered that, but usually when it's coming from a manly man, then generally it's kind of said in a derogatory way. Yeah.
Fair.
So. All right, Arteme still watching them. The circle ignores you completely, but Ozzy is getting more and more frequent between the times that he like glances over at you. Like he's like getting either. It seems like he's slowly starting to react, basically, by staring at you.
I'm theoretically not really paying attention to him. I'm just hanging out there, looking at like the magic and reading, and trying to figure out how to help her with if he can't. Like, okay. I'm not really trying to pressure, but it's just like kind of nervous, wanting to help her.
Sure. And his reactions may be just that you're distracting, not necessarily bad, but that he does kind of keep looking your direction occasionally, and that's happening more and more frequently. That you feel him like look up at you, and then kind of resume what he's doing. Sarah, by now, an hour and a half has passed of you studying the sigils there. There were 5 that you copied over, and you can tell, like, you immediately know that one of them you messed up on. Because it doesn't make sense like it is, and you think what it was supposed to be is it was supposed to be the symbol that means tree, and it's a protective symbol. But you can tell that at first you were kind of in a hurry when you were copying it, and you realized that there was a line that you did quite a little bit wrong because it doesn't feel right. The Arcanic Sigil is not correct. But you're pretty sure that you have it right. Like you could redraw it the correct way, you think. But you've studied over them enough to be able to respond potentially to Goran's Antilus.
Okay, then I will do that. And then alright, then after I respond, I'm going to roll it up and put it back in the thing, and then I'm going down to go see Ozzy.
Okay. When you roll it up and put it back in the case, the case bumps against another rolled up piece of paper that is still in there, a very ancient scroll that was still inside that case, and it just reminds you that was still in there, and you'd actually kind of forgotten that was there. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
That's the unfinished gate spell, correct?
Yeah, it's an ancient gate spell.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it was someone's. It wasn't the spell itself. It's research on how to do it, and like half of the spell is there. But it was somebody trying to create this spell that didn't previously exist, which is part of why it doesn't make sense to you. And then you're gonna go do what?
I'm gonna go down and see Ozzy.
Okay. Then
and Justin is gonna go use the restroom. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. You make your way down into the subterranean. Then you see Arteme sitting in the corner reading, and the circle of mages all kind of chanting and drawing sigils in the air.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at Ozzy. I'm not even gonna attempt to be secretive about it, and
Okay.
just tell him he won't come. He says he won't help the already lost from their inevitable doom. And then I'm just gonna sit down and study what they're doing.
Give me an insight check. He looks confused. It doesn't seem like he understands quite what you mean. But you sit down, and as you're sitting there watching him, you can give me a perception check. And if Artemis is watching now that Sarah's coming to sit next to you, go ahead and both of you give me perception. Okay. Sarah, both of you really, by watching him now, the drawing, the sigil that he's drawing in the air is slowing slightly, and it's almost imperceptible. It's not a huge amount, but it's basically slowed just a little bit. So much so that you know how when you're driving and you have your you silly Canadians, Fox, you probably won't know this because you know your mooses don't have turn signals and shit. But like if you're driving and you're waiting at a light and you turn your turn signal on, you know how they sync up occasionally and then they'll go out of sync with yours and the person in front of you. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So the sigils that he's drawing, he gets out of sync with the rest of the group, and that's how you notice it at first, that they were all in sync, and then the sigil that he's drawing is out of sync for a moment, and then he's kind of out of sync for a little bit, and then the next one it catches up, and then out of sync, and then the next one it catches up, because his pace has slowed. He's the pace that he's drawing these, and then after a few seconds, and it's clear, like you can just barely tell that this is like straining him, that he is essentially he's casting two spells at once. And Sarah, in your mind, you hear him via the sending spell. He says, there. I sent that to everybody anyway, so.
Oh.
But Sarah's the only one that actually heard it. He could only cast it to one person at a time.
Okay.
Alright,
Help too.
What's that?
Help too.
The bald lady, right?
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so Sarah would understand what he was referring to. Ozzy knows that my Eevee has been captured.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to send to him first, and he could not help. He has to finish this, otherwise all these people die. So he could not
I
help.
get that.
Yeah.
Alright, well first I'm gonna look at Artemis. Do I get the sense that they haven't stopped since they got this thing?
Correct. They haven't since Ozzy was sent down here. He hasn't stopped this, and none of the mages have.
Alright, I'm gonna ask her if she has any of those good berry things that she made while we were in the chain of dogs.
No. And like the rest I had to the refugees when we first got here.
Okay. The next time you're able to make some, will you come down here and just feed one to each of them? Because I don't
make
think they're
some
going to be able to stop and eat.
Here, I'll make them now. I'll pass you some and I'll go around and like just kind of put it.
Okay, I will tell you. I will tell you that they are chanting as well, but they might be able to like cheek one and like suck on it while they're chanting, maybe. I'll tell you that at least if you're trying to feed them, they won't resist it. They just can't stop.
Well, I just figure it's a tiny good berry, so it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly,
They're like
good
grapes, I
berries are
think.
supposed to be for like an all-day thing, or at least a
Yeah,
meal,
so
right?
yeah.
24 hours. Yeah, they're enough food for a day or two, I think.
Yeah, and it covers their hydration and their nutrition for a full day.
Okay, so up to 10 berries is here. The berries is liquid if you have not been consumed within 24 hours, but it's enough to nourish to sustain a creature for an entire.
Yeah. It's clear that they are very exhausted also. I say exhausted meaning lowercase, not well, they probably are exhausted uppercase as well, because they've been doing this for probably at this point, probably around 40-ish hours since you guys got back, because you guys slept. I think it's been like a day and a half, basically, since you guys got back, right?
Sounds like they didn't fully think out this plan then.
Well, they didn't exactly have a choice. They basically have to finish this chant, this ritual, until it's done. Normally, you would tap in and out, but they just don't have enough mages to be able to do that.
At least they're getting food. I can't do anything about the sleep until after they're done. I could give them a sleeping potion so they can sleep better. But
yeah, you actually can, but that's up to you whether you recognize it or not. Not that it matters. But that's the message that Ozzy was able to, with quite a bit of effort, get to while still chanting the ritual.
okay, I'm gonna after I feed them all, I'm just gonna wave at Ozzy and mouth thank you, and just like say to the group, if you guys want help sleeping, I can make a sleeping draught later once you guys are done. I know they won't be able to answer, but at least they'll have the knowledge.
You get the most subtlest of nods from Ozzy, of like a thank you kind of a nod, as he still kind of resumes it, as he's basically got like a jawbreaker, so that he's sucking on this good berry.
Alright, and then I'm gonna tell her we need to go see Pepperjack.
Okay,
And head
I'll
out.
go with her.
Where did Pogo go after talking to Pepperjack?
He went back to the bar.
Okay. Well, you see Sarah and Arteme passing in front of the mess hall, heading towards Pepperjack. You did just come from there. Whether or not you join them is up to you.
Tell you what, I'm gonna ask them, where are you going?
Gonna go have a conversation with Pepperjack.
Alright, I just talked to him. He didn't really give me much to do, but I'll tell you what, if you want to go up there, I'm gonna go grab him another beer and myself one, an ale, and I'll meet you back up there in a bit, in a jiff.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go get myself an ale and grab one for Pepperjack.
Okay.
Back up there to meet him.
Okay. All right. Then the quartermaster is the same guy that's behind the counter. He just hands it to you. He says, "You gonna do us another song?"
You know what? Why not? Let's see. Where did I put all my shit?
As you're pulling your banjo off your back, he says, "Usually Rook's here kind of serenading us, but I think she's trying to track down Quill right now, so maybe when she gets back, you guys can do a duet."
Oh, are you gonna sing us Rook?
Me? No, hell no.
Tell you what.
I don't sing at all, let alone as a girl.
Tell you what, you grab me these ales, and I'm gonna make my way back here in a bit, and I'll sing out a song, and I'll get everyone's spirits right and jolly.
Sounds
But
good.
I'll be back for that.
See you soon, Gleeman. Arteme went AFK, so she'll be back in a second.
Oh, okay.
But Sarah, you and Arteme at least head in to see Pepperjack. He's in there, leaned over the map. He kind of looks up, gives you kind of a small smile. Give me an insight check on Sarah, and when Arteme gets back, she can give one as well. Or when Fox gets back, rather. You've spent not a whole lot, but you've spent more time with Pepperjack than probably anybody else has. And his jaw is set pretty tight. It's clear that he's like something's weighing on him, of course, but he's angry. Like he's
Okay.
Was that your side?
Yeah, I dropped a binder. I don't know what happened to my list of songs that I printed out, so I'm gonna look them up.
Arteme, give me a insight check, please.
Okay.
You guys stepped back into Pepperjack's tent, and he's leaned over the map. Okay. Both of you recognize that he actually looks like angry, almost like not mad at you guys. Obviously, he does give you a smile, but it's clear that he's very frustrated. But you step in, he just got a smile. He says, "Guys, it's good to see you, but I'm a little busy. What can I do for you?"
Look, I know you're busy, and I know you don't have time, and I know we're in the middle of a shithole. But you remember that woman we were telling you about that's on our side, and you needed to let her in, maybe? With the big-ass dead giant thing?
He gives like a dismissive, not again, he's not trying to be mean to you guys, but it does come off a little bit as like dickish almost, like a dismissive gesture. He says, "Yeah, I mean, I remember, but what of it?"
Well, it seems she's been captured, and we need to go get her. I mean, we don't really have a whole lot of mages anyways. I tried to get another one here. He won't come, but she might be able to help. I mean, she's from... Okay, DM question. From my understanding, Maibi is like Ozzy, right?
How do you mean?
Like...
As far as capability? Like
yeah.
similar power level?
Because they had similar tattoos, right?
They do have similar tattoos, and that is important, that Sarah would have recognized that they at least had the same job. But as for being aware of their differences in power level, let's say, go ahead and give me an Arcana check, but with disadvantage. This is basically you kind of remembering the differences between. Because you weren't really of a tier enough to be able to really tell. Yeah, not with an natural one. and actually, well... Justin, you still there? You back?
Guys, is Pogo in the room now?
Well, I mean, she did drop a
I?
19. Oh shit, you have your own thing. Never mind. Yeah, you have your own anyways.
So
there you go.
Roll it at disadvantage?
Yeah, reroll at disadvantage. Oh shit, yeah, it's gonna be a reroll anyways. Still with disadvantage. That one you did drop a 19 though, which I mean that sucks.
Alright.
Oh, that is awesome. Just the lowest, because like if it had been another one, Justin could have helped you by re-rolling. Pogo, you're stepping into the tent behind Sarah and Arteme, who are looking up at Pepperjack. Your gauge of their difference in capability, I'll tell you this: that Ozzy is far more powerful than Maibi is, but they do have similar schools of arcane tradition.
Alright, then I'm just gonna tell him Maibi is similar to Ozzy, so I mean, we can use all the mages we can get, right?
She's also quite attractive. I'm gonna put the mug of ale down.
This is the first thing Pogo says as he walks in.
100%.
Oh my gosh. I would just kind of glare at Pogo for a second and just be like, aside from that, she's helped us. She's in danger. She's seen.
She's in danger?
We have
to save her!
The artifact, and she kind of sensed what it was, so if they torture and kill her, they'll know where we are. Sadly.
So I didn't want to interrupt there, but let's do that. First of all, okay, so I will say that he interrupted Sarah initially as soon as you say that she's kind of like Maibi, he chuckles at you and says, "You clearly don't know what you're talking about." And then the Arteme, you continue and specify that she did know about the Older Rock and recognize it and so on. And when you say that if she gets tortured and killed, he kind of sets his jaw again and he sighs a little bit and he says, "Guys, I appreciate what you want to do, trying to help your friend and all, but if she was captured, she's as good as dead. There's really not going to be any getting in her back. I can't spend forces to send out there to try to find her."
We'll go grab her.
Exactly.
Figure it out.
You don't have to send forces, you just have to give us a general direction of where you think she might be.
Come on, a smart military man like yourself, a strategist of quite well regard. You must have an idea of what we could do and go and get this handled.
Are you trying to butter him up? Is that what that is?
Hey!
I thought she was talking to Pogo for a second in character.
No, I heard dog crying. But they got a new puppy yesterday. So is the puppy okay?
Yeah, you go fucking find some
Yeah,
places to sit.
the cat slapped him in the face.
Oh, he slept the new puppy.
Yeah, he was trying to cuddle up with him and he apparently didn't like it.
Yeah,
All right,
dumb
bye.
puppies.
So a military strategist of your regard has to know where we could find her. You might even be able to give a clue as to how we might be able to do it, but I think we can do it. I'm excited. Are you excited? And I'm going to look around the group like, let's do this!
Oh, while this conversation is going, even though it's not probably going to help at all, that cloak is billowing like crazy.
Like the wind is blowing like crazy inside this tent.
Yes.
All right, give me a persuasion check on Pogo.
So many percent.
You know what? Actually, you can make it with advantage because Sarah and Arteme are trying to help you with it.
All right.
You're all trying to convince, and you're just the most convincing of the three. So Sarah's high charisma as well. She's just not 20, I don't think.
I just realized I don't think I did that right, but nope, that's not what I meant to do. You can just take the 11 if you want. I always forget how to actually roll with advantage. I just end up rolling 2 dice.
Yeah, 11. It'd be 22. So you'd be a 22 instead of a 26 is also. Still, all right. He looks down at the map, and he says, "You don't understand. I mean, look, It's a suicide mission. It's literally a suicide mission. You go out there, you're not coming back."
Look, we went into the ocean and found your thing, and
We fought a fucking sea monster.
yeah, I think we'll be fine. Besides, if we don't make it back, you're not down any mages that could help you.
And I can just make myself invisible and run away. So don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
He gives you kind of a light glare, Pogo. Like I would say that you might get the impression that you don't know him very well, but by now you've seen that kind of a glare before. But he's not mad at you. He's not being a dick. He's just like in a bad mood essentially. So he kind of glares at you a little bit, because of with good reason, obviously, that his people are dying. But
Sorry, it's the ale. Sorry.
I would just look at him and say, like, there's not much we could do here. Sure, we could, like, help for the break-ins, but we can't really help with anything else. I've made a few tents, but that's not much help if, like, I would say when Sarah talked about the Corsians said that they were
Corinth.
Yeah, so he thinks we're completely doomed, so he's not even coming to help. He's just telling Sarah to run. So...
okay, you were there, but Sarah, did you read it out loud or show the sheet to Artemis?
No, all I said was that he wasn't coming, that he wasn't going to help those whose fate was already inevitably
Okay.
doomed or whatever.
Okay, yeah, so, same words, okay.
Sure.
So basically he thinks we're doomed. So, and I'm not talking about, like, storming it and, like, trying to take her out by force. I'm saying going in stealthily with a proper direction, seeing if we could get her out as, like, a covert operation.
And
not
what
talking
you
about
have
storming
is a
into
scout.
suicide mission. I'm saying scouting a bit. I did a bit of scouting. Should I do a bit of scouting with? I was going to.
You talked about it.
But
You were going to try
basically-
to do a bird,
Yes,
I think. But
so I'm going to do a scouting mission with Sai to tell you what you're up against before we go, and I can use the exact same thing to try and see if there's an opportunity to get my ID out. If there isn't, at least we tried.
True. What you have at your disposal is a think of us like a scalpel. We'll go in there. We'll be precise. It won't start any kind of a ruckus. And since a scalpel can still do a little damage if we need to stab something really hard.
he
Look at him and tell him, you know what, you can either give us a direction, tell us what, may help us, or I'm just gonna go and try and help her anyways, because I'm no help right now.
as soon as Artemis was speaking for a minute there, she says that there's nothing else we can do to help and so on. His jaw actually kind of opens a little bit, like he thought of something, and then he stops as soon as she mentions Corin Xantalis, and he says he kind of tilts his head and then looks back at Sarah. He says, "Corin Xantalis, that's who the mage you were trying to get to help us."
The mage, right?
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna look at her and shrug, like, sorry.
Do we not like?
He said,
I've known him for years, and he's fantastic.
Make a deception check because he. Okay, so, but his response is, where
Finally.
this ragtag group. I mean, pardon me. I mean no offense of this, but how do you come up with such friends? How do you know Ozzy and Corin Xantalis? And this
We get
friend
around.
outside the walls that you're trying to recover, and this Gleeman. You just run around just gathering it. Are you guys fucking Katamar Damachi?
I'll have you know that I've traveled all over the world entertaining thousands and thousands of people and lasses.
People
I'm more well-traveled.
people.
Well, sometimes. Anyways, I'm more well-traveled than probably 60% of your soldiers combined. I've met people and I've done things and I've created these relationships that you can only imagine.
The kind of relationships that leave you with a trail of children that you're forgotten all about by the time you make it down.
You can't forget anything you don't know about.
Wow. Okay, ignoring that, I'm just gonna say, we met my EB while we were first getting kicked out of Vabby. We met Ozzy before that.
Just before that, though.
Yeah, just before
Well,
that.
you met Ozzy. You met Ozzy on the ship, on the slave ship.
Yeah, okay. So we met him on a slave ship. Then we met my EB while we were getting kicked out of Vabby during the train of dogs. She helped us get away to get a few things. She wanted us to do some scouting, which we did. We came back, so she helped us with a few things.
And I was on a boat.
We met him. I'm gonna point to Pogo on the boat going to get the artifact. And also Corre Xanthielus, we also met on the boat.
Cor and Xantillus.
Oh my gosh, that is such a...
Come on, Corin Xantos.
No.
It's only
Oh,
it's only
I'm
5
sorry.
syllables. 5 syllables.
I
6
call him.
syllables,
Can I
something
just call
me
him
and Corey.
Corzan,
Me and
please?
Corey
like
are
that.
like
I don't
this.
care, Fox. It's totally fine. I'm just kidding.
Can I just shorten his name to Corinth, please?
As long as everybody else knows what you're talking
we've
about.
I've known him for years. He prefers Corey.
Corin Xandalis is helping me with, what is it, my test? Is that what it's called?
He's powerful too. He's a good friend to have on your side.
That was
I'm
the
gonna
Well,
say...
there's no doubt about his power. If he were here, he probably could handle the summoning on his own in a matter of a few hours.
I'm gonna say he probably doesn't care about us except for Sarah. So... You could say we kind of picked up a few acquaintances along the way. We don't really know them that well, but...
Yeah, to be fair, I doubt he cares about her either, unless his reputation is wrong.
And who knows?
Yeah, that's more
I mean,
than
I do.
likely
I know.
true.
He says, all right, look, if you insist on going out there, I'm not kidding, this, and you will likely not come back, but with this gathering of people you tend to have, you have Wilo's own luck, some way you're managing to survive this, maybe some good can come of this. Let me be clear, I expect to never see you again. I've sent half a dozen of my best spies into their camp and not one has returned. If you were under my command, I'd absolutely disallow this. I would not let you pass these walls. But by the luck of the draw, you're not under my command. And so if you're going to go out there despite my warning, he kind of is quiet for a second. He says, look, the Legion of Moras, the flying beasts that you've seen above, they're preventing us from being able to call in any air support, and as well, they're killing our ravens. So those beasts refuse to fly in this heavy of a storm, but the Legion is just magically obscuring where their roost is. And if we can hit them while they're grounded, we might be able to take them out and buy us a lot more time to raise the crow fort. But they're so obscured that we can't find where they are. And he looks down at the table, and you see him. In fact, give me. Oh, that wouldn't matter. He looks down at the table, and he reaches over to where there's nothing in. There's nothing. There's just an empty space, and it looks like he's picking up something. And as soon as he lifts it up, you see this kind of crystalline device in the shape of like a small lantern. And he's lifted it up, and you couldn't tell that it was there before until he picks it up, and as he's moving, the light is kind of bouncing off of it differently, and now you can see that he's holding something, but as soon as he kind of holds still again, it almost looks like it disappears. It's like the light basically is reflecting off of it, but when it's sitting still, the light is kind of bending around it. And he kind of lifts it up, and he says, High Mage Darwin enchanted some arcane flares for us. They're subtle, but we still have to get them out there into their camp. And if you can place one or two of these in the Vabian camp near any valuable targets, that is before you're captured and killed, it could save a lot of lives, even mine by rights.
I mean,
Okay.
could we do this on the way to take a look for the... maybe?
That's what I'm hoping.
All right, why not? I'll take the...
Okay, hang on. You said a nest, right?
A roost is what he
A
said.
roost.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have... Well, roost, nest, similar...
The same thing. Yeah, a roost. And in this particular case, it's you know what a rookery is?
Sort of...
So
Okay.
it's think of basically the way that if you had a pigeons, for example, like homing pigeons, you'd put them in a rookery.
Okay.
That's what
Do
he
you
called
have like a general direction for that to where I could start scouting? Because I could use Psy to try and figure out where it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
he-
if you're killing
What's
kill
that?
Ravens, they might kill Spy.
He says I can tell you that they do kill every raven we try to send out. That being said,
But they're
Tho-
not
those
flying
flying
right
beasts-
now, right?
exactly. They don't like the. I think the thunder probably bothers them. I don't know. But when it's raining like this, every time it rains harder, they go down and don't come back up until the rain stops.
Okay, so because it's raining, we might have it. Which direction do they normally come?
He points down at the map, and the section of the map that Sarah noticed earlier. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Becky?
Yeah, the thing that looked like a hill, but there's no hill there.
Yeah, exactly. Southeast of the of Dunskathak. He points to that point on the map, that part that you saw where he had drawn in that kind of hill-looking thing, and he says they're here. They fly into here and then they fly back out, but we can't see into it. It's magically obscured. It's a thick fog like a dome, and we can't tell what's going on in there.
So some kind of fog spell.
It's
On-
not as simple as just fog, but something of that effect. Yes.
On the good side, if we ever happen to get in there, they probably can't see us.
At
Hey,
least from the
silver
outside.
linings.
At least from the outside, it looks like it's very thick.
That's what she said.
And if one of us is
Not when it's just in. What's that? It could be the cube. Well, Justin didn't watch. Doesn't
and
want a Critical Role, but okay, your character Justin Scanlan in season 1 of Critical Role, the guy Sam, the one that the bard, he describes his dick as being a 1-inch cube. Very often, literally, is a 1-inch cube. So in that particular case, anyways, so you really ought to go back and watch that just because of the inspiration for your
Hey,
character
you,
is
you
almost
were
so
the
spot
one
on.
that you were the one that told me not to. Just start season
No.
2. I'll
No,
go back.
I told you to start season 1. I just said don't start at the beginning. The first 15 or so episodes of season 1 are really awful audio quality. Like they're really hard to get through because the audio's so bad. But you just start it from where the second story arc is. Read the recap. That's 2 paragraphs. Read the recap for the first part of it, and then start it there, and then the audio, and then it gets better and better from then on.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's a really great story. I mean, it's my opinion, a far better story, and one of like no exaggeration. The ending of that is the best story I've ever seen in media ever. Partially like in books, video games, anything. Anyways, but that's what he's described it to you. He says that this area here is being magically obscured. We can't see in, but if you can get these and any kind of gestures with the beacon, the little lantern shaped thing that he's holding. If you can get this in there, then the mages will be able to see it. And when, if we are able to get some arcane support in here, some air support rather, they'll be able to find them and maybe take out these flying creatures before they take wing again.
do we just have to put it in there? We don't have to do anything with it?
At least as far as what High Mage Darwin told me, you just set it down.
Okay.
As long as it's
So-
not moving, it's hard to see, and as long as nobody sees it, then my mages can find it, and then they can light them up.
Okay, so if there's an available mage or somebody that knows how to make things invisible for about an hour, I could maybe typical that needs to be able to make things invisible, because if I'm invisible, if Sai's invisible, I could go as close as possible for her senses, and then
He interrupts you. He says, "Pardon me, miss. I don't think invisibility is going to help you too much. There are some amongst the Vabian Legion that can see right. You're going to need to be disguised in some way. I mean, invisibility won't hurt. There's a lot of it that you will be able to fool, but if you look as yourselves walking amongst them." The Seerdaman and the Erdaman amongst he says Erdaman. You guys haven't heard the one before, but Seerdaman and Erdaman is the other one he says, and you don't know them. But basically those amongst them will see right through it. They may see through disguises as well, but this is why I'm trying to tell you that the suicide mission.
And the closest thing I have is a disguise kit. I don't know how far that'll get you.
Well, you have your hat, personally.
Yeah, but that's magic,
yeah,
so
that's
that
just
gets
you.
seen through.
Well, yes. He specifically was referring to see invisibility, but
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah.
People could see through magic as well. Or at least see that it is magic.
Well, seeing through illusion isn't the same thing. Hey, that's the first time it's happened in like 3 weeks. I know I shouldn't be happy about that.
Since the last time we played.
Oh no, well but we played Ben's game twice.
Oh,
since. So I will restart this.
Ooh, I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Yeah,
Anyone
everybody
else want
take 5.
Okay.
Take 5, everybody.
Is everyone back, or are we still taking more time?
I think you're the first one back. I think
Okay.
Ben and Beck, you're probably taking care of the new puppy. You see that stupid picture he sent earlier?
Which
So
one?
dumb. I mean, you know, I've told you before, of course, but Ben's a weightlifter, right? So,
Sure.
now that he's actually been able to get back to the gym and lift again, he's obviously pretty proud of, getting back to his normal shape, right? So he sends this picture earlier. Shit, where is it? He dropped it in one of these channels.
D&D memes, maybe?
Oh, you know what? It's in general. Just go to the general channel. And I had to make fun. Oh, yeah, no, the general text channel, not the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picture of him and the dog?
Yeah, but so I made fun of him because the fucking picture he put up is just retarded. Come on. Like, look at that picture, right?
I think we should all take pictures of our arms holding random things.
Okay, but I mean, it's supposed to be a picture of the new puppy. This is why I was making fun of it. It's supposed to be a picture of the puppy, and the puppy is like 15% of the picture, and his arm is like 60% of the picture.
I just now realized I don't even have a webcam. I was gonna take a picture and upload it with my LaCroix or with my bubbly just like nestled in my elbow.
I didn't even take that picture. Megan did, by the way.
Yeah.
She stole a bunch of pictures of the dog before on the last day, because she's the one that we got him from. So
Oh,
she
really?
had she had all the puppies, the whole litter, and he was one of the puppies. So
Yeah.
He really looks like a bloodhound in that picture.
He kind of does, actually. When I first saw him, he definitely looks like a hound.
Well, he's
Like with a scrunched up face and everything.
he's a quarter bloodhound.
There you go. That's
Looks,
probably,
he looks squishy.
yeah.
So,
Can hide some treats in his folds.
so is this what we're gonna do? Are we gonna go try to find this cave of crazy flying monsters?
I have a question. So
Yep. Fox isn't back yet.
No.
Oh, wait, she just came back. Never mind.
I know halflings aren't common in Babby, but are elves?
No. Basically, the only non-humans that are somewhat common aren't anywhere near where you guys are. Basically, the northern edge of Abbey along... if you were to imagine... are you familiar with the northern Africa and the Mediterranean?
Sure.
So basically, the south of the Mediterranean, the northern coast of Africa, that's where you guys were. That's what northern Babby is, basically north of the Sahara. And that's the region you guys were in, basically, is the only area non-humans, for the most part, because they're people from Mist that have just come across the Caliodoran. But that's who Babby kicked out. So there are other non-humans that are further south, but basically anybody that looks anything other than human, and even then, not just regular human, but specifically kind of the olive-skinned Vavian humans, that's who they'd be expecting to see.
Okay. Then I'm relatively strong. I could probably put Pogo on my shoulder. Can I put Pogo on my shoulders and have him look like a Vavian? And then we could take Norok and Arteme as like prisoners.
Oh, the
How
old
else to
Star
disguise
Wars
them?
trick.
Shit.
then
This
I
is
would
this is the 5 kobolds in a coat kind of
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
kind of a joke.
3 dwarfs in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we'd be 6 feet tall then, or just over 6 feet. I'm 3 feet tall.
Pepperjack just shrugs. He says, "To be honest, I don't know how you're going to do it at all. Anyways, that's really up to you. But I mean, if you can place these things, and he kind of holds that one out, and again, as soon as it moves through the light, because there's the torchlight above him, you can see it, and then he kind of stops it. He's holding it out, and he grabs another one and lifts it. There were 3 sitting on the desk, but you hadn't seen any until he moved one and then moved another. But he hands you 3 of them, one for each of you.
I'm gonna ask, will they work if they're buried?
I don't think so. I didn't ask. I think they need to be able to refract light. To be honest, I don't really know quite how they work. I mean, you can go down and talk to Darwin. I don't know how how capable he's going to be. Yeah.
They're not gonna talk.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would tell you, go ahead and actually, both you and Sarah give me, actually Pogo too, give me Arcana checks, all 3 of you. Natural ones rubbing off. Well, Pogo and Artemis rolls are a little better. You gather by looking at it that it's probably something along the lines of that there's probably a device that is going to respond to those, and it needs to be able to communicate. Like, think of it like lasers. If you were to communicate with lasers, you guys may not know how that works.
Like lacing a target.
Basically, if you can hit that crystal with something else, if you can think of it like a laser, right? If you can hit a prism with a laser, you know how it shoots out in all directions, becomes a beacon. Similar to that. I would say that you guys kind of intuit that that's probably how it works based on the information that Pepperjack has given you and looking at these things. That they're essentially, when they're still, they're all but invisible. But if you know the general area, that you can kind of blanket the area and hit it, and as soon as it hits it, it kind of lights the area up.
Okay, so burying it underground wouldn't work, but hiding it in roots where it could still get light.
I mean, isn't this thing almost invisible,
Probably.
though?
As long as it's not moving. Yeah,
practically invisible.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
we could set it up against a wall.
Fuck it, we could even put it in one of the monster's fucking teeth. I don't give a shit. Just slide it right in its rectum.
I mean, I'd rather you not do that.
It would be pretty funny, though.
I don't think that would work.
Alright.
Has to get to it.
We'll find a spot to put it.
It's called Where the Sun Doesn't Shine for a reason. He says, I mean, I'm willing to take this risk on you guys. Let's say you're some source of divine luck that has managed to keep you alive through all of this. After having met Cor and Xantilus and still talking to me is certainly strange. But I mean, what better chance do I have to risk anyways? I mean, what else do we have to lose?
Oh, I know. Sarah, you could send Sham in. And I could send Sai, and they'll just go and, put them...
Shan has to have a target is a problem. She's not quite like Sai.
Right.
I can't just summon her and have her go do something. She has to have a specific target in mind.
And as the DM, I'll just say it this way, that if you sent her after my Eevee, she's gonna eat my Eevee.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe we could send her, after Sai as a friend, but no.
I will tell you this, too, that for Sarah, specifically for Becky, you over time will have more control over her options, but at least for right now, I mean, you only got it at level 6, so it's not something that you can't give her other commands just yet.
Alright.
She doesn't know how to fetch, she only knows how to bite.
Hang on. So, she only knows how to bite, but she needs a target.
Yeah.
But would she know how, we'd be able to set it up to where when she bit, it would drop the item from her collar or something, right? So if I scout out, designate a target area to drop it, you summon her at that target. She drops the item, bites something, and disappears.
I believe there's a limit. Let me double check this. Yeah, it has to be within 120 feet of me, and it has to be a creature that I can see.
That could still work.
Pepperjack interrupts. He says, You are taking the big guy with you, though, right?
If we can get him to go,
I
yes.
feel agree to-
He says, "Look, by all means, find whatever disguises or subterfuge you guys can come up with. It's just I want you to be successful. I don't keep in mind I don't want you guys to die. You're going to, so consider this the early morning process, but morning MOURN, right? But if you are able to find some way of obscuring your guys' appearance enough to maybe confuse them out there, probably the only way he's going to be able to make it through is if he looks like one of the dead giants on the other side."
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
They're super pale, right? So could we, like, take some ash or something from one of our fires and just, like, rub it all... Well, no, it's fucking raining. Never mind.
Yeah, the rain
I'm
probably
already
washed it
gray,
right off.
so it wouldn't
He's
take
gray
much. I'm
skinned. He's already gray skinned
Yeah.
anyway. But
So
if you know, that's
I look
that.
alive.
I mean, tell Pogo to smack your around a little bit. You're also not quite the right shape. Like ogres are fat, but that's the closest thing to a Yogg out there. Are the Mortrillis brutes? They're not all ogres, I guess. Just the ones you've seen. But yeah, that's fair. You haven't seen any Yogg amongst them, at least. But you potentially could be disguised that way, or if you guys can find some magical means of disguising yourselves. But up to you guys. You guys, I don't have a plan for you. It's up to you guys on how you are going to do this, if you're going to.
Do they have any, like, animals with them that we've noticed? Like, any beasts or anything?
The dead Iskil, you've seen those. And there
Those
are
are
various
probably-
shapes of those.
Artemis probably couldn't turn into one of those, could she?
No. She would have needed an hour of time to study them without them trying to chew her aurochs form in half. Bite
Do we
through her
have
spine.
any? Do we have any dead soldiers of theirs? Any of their armors? I'm asking Pepperjack.
Well, we
I mean, we've got... Yeah, I mean, there's countless of those. If you want dead things, we've got a lot of them here. You some kind of necromancer? What are you thinking there?
No, I'm thinking about putting their clothes on and helping as a disguise.
You're concerned about fashion at a time like this?
Well, it might help us get through.
It's
Oh.
not necessarily fashion, but
Not-
if we have their armor, and we could come up with a disguise to make us look like dress along.
I
them, would
see.
be fun.
I see. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, most of the dead we have inside are Albashar, so they're pretty well rotted, the clothing that was on them, but we do have enough Becklights dead on the inside to garb you in their attire if you so choose. I mean, it's purple and gold livery, it's covered in blood and it's going to have wounds on it, but many of the soldiers on the other side are wounded as well, so you might be able to blend in with that.
We can disguise ourselves. I can use. I mean, I might look a little strange in it. No, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But if we have normal humanoid-sized people that can blend in with that armor, we could go back out through the entrance we came in and walk around through the lines. Might be able to fool them.
You mean out through the secret entrance?
Yeah, I mean, it might be weirder. They probably have everything else guarded, keeping an eye on all the other entrances and exits. I don't know about that one.
They certainly do, but it does mean marching the entire eastern border of Dunskathak all the way south.
Oh, how long do you think that would take? I mean, I'm sure Pogo would know. I just don't know what the size is here.
Well, so you've seen the outside of Dunskathak enough when you guys ran in, basically, as you guys were skirting the outside of it. It would mean walking through the entire army on the eastern wall, because basically the secret entrance is in the northeast, and where you guys need to go is in the southeast. So basically you have to walk the entire eastern wall all the way through the army. And remember, from the outside, you guys saw this, but from the outside, the Mortrollists are lined up as like checkpoints all the way around. Do you remember when I described that to you guys?
Yes.
So the dead are in these big squares with all the Becklights inside of those squares, and they're like creating like stanchions, like walls, all the way around. So basically, the dead soldiers, because they don't need to move and they can just stand out in the rain, they don't need to eat, etc. They're just standing there, and then inside of those squares are tent after tent after tent with the Becklights, the human soldiers inside of them.
That's right.
Basically, you'd be going checkpoint, 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 checkpoint the entire way through, trying to.
And each time they would, even though we're the soldiers on the same side, those half-dead things would still, the Mortrillis would still attack us, wouldn't they?
The Mortrillis are fully dead. So I realize that is a little bit confusing. So the Albashar.
That's the ones. Yeah.
The Albashar are the cannibal peasants. Yeah, they're the peasant army. And then Mortrillis are zombie soldiers.
But the Albashar aren't dead.
Soldiers. Correct. Albashar are not dead.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
would we still get attacked by those zombies?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I mean, they're not fighting amongst themselves. The Albashar are basically the ones that are closest to the wall. They're the ones as soon as the walls get broken down, the Albashar are who pour through first. They're shock troops that they're expendable, so they just throw them all in.
But I'm just guessing the reason they sleep inside behind these walls is because if they didn't, then they'd still get attacked by the... Like, how would the zombie soldiers know that we weren't the actual soldiers, the Babians? Do they have any kind of consciousness to assess that?
So, Arteme is aware of this, and maybe Sarah. The regular ones, no. The regular Mortrillis are completely mindless and only follow orders. That's it. They're like robots. They're just dead robots. But there are a certain kind of rank of the Mortrillis that are conscious.
Is Maedes one conscious?
But either way, they wouldn't just attack us unless someone told them to.
Correct. Yeah. The let's say the mentally competent ones wouldn't just automatically know that you guys are not who you say you are. On top of that, the Seerdomen are the first simple explanation. I call them necromancers, and then you also heard Erdlumen, and you don't know what those are.
Hey, Pepperjack, would it be uncommon, since you've been watching this play out, would it be uncommon for a group of 4 or 5 enemy soldiers to be walking in some sort of uniform file to get from point A to point B? You think we'd be immediately spotted, or is that something fairly common that the enemy would be doing?
I mean, they do it when they presumably are sending orders from one camp to the next, things like that. It's not unheard of. It's just a matter of you being too short, and he points at you, and then you being too short, and the big guy being way too big. You're just about the right size, Arteme, but I mean, you don't. Pardon my harshness here, but you don't look like the gruff soldiers that the Backlights are made up of. Not to mention the ears.
Fair enough. Although I can change my hair to hide my ears.
Back to the fashion again, huh?
I mean, we
can do my hair in a fancy way.
You don't always need a spell for disguise.
I know. I have that kit. We couldn't. I mean, the problem is, I don't know
and
how.
You are proficient with it too, right?
Yeah, I'm proficient with it. I don't know how. I just don't know if it's safe to put one person out there alone.
Oh, hang on. Not Arteme, but Fox talking. To copy down an animal, does it have to be a...
Huh. You know, I hadn't really thought about that. I guess, I mean, you need to spend 10 minutes with it if it's, let's say, amenable to you. If it's dead, I would say that 10 minutes... maybe, you know what, we'll do it this way. If it's dead, we'll call it 20 minutes, okay?
Okay.
If it's alive and friendly, 10 minutes is fine. If it's dead, 20 minutes. If it's alive and hostile, it's an hour.
Okay,
which is normal,
so there was a few of them. Do they pick up the dead or bury them?
Who are you referring to?
The Backlights and Mortrillis and Albashar.
A few of the dead. A few of the dead what?
Do they bury their dead? Do they take them out of the battlefield? Do they just leave them there?
So I'll tell you this, that they're dead, as long as they can get to them, they do take their dead with them. As for what they're doing with those, you would know by now that they're food. They literally, that's what the Albashar are eating.
Yeah, I really didn't want to know that. But
what do you think cannibals eat?
You know a true test of love between two cannibals?
No, I know what cannibals
oral
eat.
sex.
Thank you very much.
Ugh. God damn, Justin.
Well,
I'm glad Fox didn't hear that joke.
I didn't catch that.
So are you.
So
What's that?
Basically, if I go to the entrance and look out to see if there is anything there, I could go and be able to change into one of the animals and then go and.
Well, what animals are you referring to? Are you talking about the Iskill that were left over?
Yes, the skill.
There, you'd need to be able to see one that's alive and be like close enough to be able to study it.
Yeah, but what about the dead ones that we killed on the way in?
Yeah, that's what I was asking about.
You know, where those were, that was still 40-ish hours ago. Hang on. Let me make sure that I was checking the time right. It was the 16th when you guys came in, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, it was the 16th, early in the morning, so it's been like 40 hours. 40, nearly 2 days basically now, because you're coming into the evening by now. I mean, you could go out and see if the bodies are still there.
Okay, I'm gonna do that, because that would be a plan, right? I go in, drop the thing, do a bit of scouting.
Has it been that long? I thought it was still the same day.
It was the
So it was
16th,
So it was
as
like
far as
1
the
o'clock
notes.
in the morning when we came in, and then we came in, took a long rest. And then, not long after that, we went to go find Ozzy, and then those guys broke through the wall.
Yeah.
That was when you were coming through. Hang on. Oh, yeah, you actually... Okay, never mind. You arrived at... Okay, so the 16th was when you guys were running towards, and then past midnight into the 17th. So, never mind. It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. or something like that this morning when you killed
So
those.
it's been about 12 hours.
16-ish. Because it's... Well, it's basically... It's like by now it's probably 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's getting dark.
Just see if we can find them. Drag it
Okay.
in.
That's one plan. Okay, so we'll see about doing the scouting, let you know everything we find out, and then try and go after maybe. Is there any specific targets you want for the... Let's go with trigger.
The main one we're interested in is if you can get one of these in whatever roost that the Amoras are sleeping in. That they're our biggest problem. If we can get the Amoras wiped out, then I can bring in air support. That's actually where Clover is right now.
Wait,
trying to get us some help.
if we can get what wiped out?
Okay, and
He
what
says
are
the Amora.
Erdemen?
Erdemen are, he says, they are the, you might call them magisters. They're the politicians. They're the high-ranking mages amongst the Vabian League. They're what
Hopefully-
Ozzy is.
Hopefully they're not also trying to summon some crazy fort to fight our fort, and then it will be a fort battle. Fort versus fort.
Did you say that was what Ozzy is?
Yeah, he says that's what Ozzy is.
Or it was, maybe. Hopefully.
He kind of shrugs.
So basically just a very powerful mage.
And then the this skill is what?
His skill.
Sorry, I'm just making a
Dinosaur thing.
It's like a velociraptor. They're kind
not
of hard
all-
to ride.
Iskill are they're kind of hard to ride. Like I was trying to buck you off, right? It's an entire genus. It's not just individual species. Iskill would be like the word for dinosaur. They were, by the way, you guys. Everybody knows this in this world. Iskill is actually the name for the culture, not for the species. Iskill, the dinosaurs, were the first intelligent species that had architecture and societies and empires that covered the world a few 100,000 years previous.
Neat.
Okay. So I'm gonna try and.
And they're long extinct. They're all long dead. They're just the ones that are around are just raised. They're just zombies. There aren't alive ones anymore.
Okay,
sorry,
so
Fox.
if I could become an Iskill and then drop that at the roost and any other target.
At this point, Pogo's gonna just look and be like, "This sounds like a fucking crazy idea." I'm gonna go.
Pepperjack looks at you and just nods like emphatically. He says, "This is I want to be clear here. I'm not kidding. This you as fun as we're making this sound, you probably won't be returning.
Yeah, this doesn't sound fun at all. Is there, Pepperjack? I understand that this is important. The mages made these special devices, and one of them, if we can get it in that lair, will help to defeat these flying beasties that are going all over the place. You've got to have some slight better option to get out there. We're clearly running on fumes when it comes to ideas. Do you have any other thing you can think of? We've got a pretty diverse idea as far as our skills, but has anyone had any other better idea? Are there any tunnels? Are there any ways to get through the lines? Any weakened
I'm just
defenses?
gonna glare at him and tell him that he does not need to go into the lines, because if I turn into his skill, I'd be going in solo.
All right.
Pepperjack, though, in looking at Pogo, he says, before you came in here and offered to walk in and essentially kill yourselves, the plan was that I just keep waiting for this phone to ring, and he kind of looks over at the sending stove that's sitting on his desk or on the table there, and he says for Clover to respond.
So you haven't heard from Clover in a while?
He shakes his head.
Where was Clover? And
I sent
what's
her.
a Clover?
He says Lieutenant Clover is my spy master. She's the most competent at subterfuge amongst all of the Crowblinders, and therefore the entire Empire. I sent her on a mission specifically to try to bring us some air support, some allies.
So is she far away, like trying to bring him from another area?
Yeah.
Can
if
we
she can make it back, the idea was if she can make it back and it was still raining or maybe raining again, I was hoping that we would get, he says the shell. You don't know what it is he's talking about, but he says, I was hoping that we could get the shell to drop one of these, and he gestures to the beacons, the crystalline beacons, drop one of these into that foggy area and just pray that it worked.
Okay, so if we do some scouting and find it, it would help Clover if she comes back. Which hopefully she does. I liked her.
If we can get these planted, if you somehow manage to do this before you're killed, then when the shell do arrive, then we'll be able to see these beacons and light them up, and hopefully buy us some more time to get the Crow Fort here.
So what if we did... I mean, how far away is it, about a quarter mile? How many kilometers is this area that you think these flying guys are at?
They're actually not that far from the other side of the other side of the wall.
Okay, can you put a marker on the map, please?
Do we have a map?
Borderlands map.
Yeah. You definitely have seen it, Justin. We talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you had mentioned that you had seen the map before, so that's how I know that you've seen it.
Probably.
There. Does everybody have the map?
Yes.
Borderlands?
All right, so, yeah, the Borderlands region, yeah. So you see the purple circle? That's where the secret entrance was. And then, let me figure out which one it was. No, that's a cone. It's a square. There's a circle. The circle that he drew on the map is like here. You see the red circle?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you guys, so the secret entrance, if you were to go out from the, like Justin was earlier, you'd have to go the entire eastern circle, unless you can get over or through. Basically, if you can get to the other side of the wall, somehow disguised or whatever, then you might be able to just walk directly there. But that's up to you guys. But basically, there, and I will tell you too, by the way, that you probably didn't notice because remember how when you guys rushed here that there were thick pockets of fog all the way around, especially around the lakes, for example. So there was a thick-ass pocket of fog to the southeast, but you wouldn't have known that that was anything out of the ordinary because fog is pretty normal. That's what it looks like around here because it's kind of a wetland area. But if you went out now and looked at it, you'd be able to see the area that he's describing because now you know what you're looking for, whereas before it just would have looked like a foggy space.
Okay,
So what if
gotcha.
we do this? If we get someone out there, we can always have someone else keeping an eye. Is this within eyesight? If we're on the wall, can we see it, or is it too far away to see?
No, you can see it from if you basically where you guys Pogo didn't. Pogo slept inside and Norok slept elsewhere. But the camping area that Sarah and Artemis are on is up on basically the top of a broken wall, and you can see over the wall into the where the soldiers are, into the outside, and see the fog from there.
So like 800 feet, 1,200 feet.
It's probably a couple hundred yards,
Okay, so
So our
not too
camp
bad.
is like basically right there.
like 600 feet. What's that? What's the cone that you just drew, Fox?
Our campsite.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's so that whole rocky area is all of the ruins of Dunskathak. But yeah, if your camp was basically up on top of a rocky area, yeah, and looking out that way, you would be able to see the fog.
All right. So how about this? What if we did this? What if we created? Can I make a pointer?
Yes.
I can.
If you want a line, just double left and right click together and then drag.
So what if we create a diversion? Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
What if we create a diversion over here? And then we have someone go from this area down into here. One person in, 3 of us over here causing a diversion. That way we can distract everyone that's in here to look.
It's like a bad football plan, like somebody trying to draw a football plan.
Halfway through it, I realized I should have made a penis, and then I realized I had done too much. Okay, but seriously, what if we just go over here and we cause a diversion? So far, it seems like it's just been them attacking us. What if we throw it off and we just create some sort of chaos that draws their attention and someone sneaks back in over here to see what's going on underneath the fog? I think if I can cast invisibility on whoever wants to fly that crazy broom, they should be able to get there in 30, 40 seconds. And their kind of go command, or if you could turn into a fucking crazy dead dinosaur, that works too. But their go command can be when we start making explosions and shit blow up, whatever we can do over here.
True, but we also need to distract the soldiers on the other side because Dunskathak is completely surrounded.
Alright, how about...
So, like, both sides of where they're running through.
Alright.
Pepperjack says, this is certainly a plan if this works for you. I just got to say, I mean, part of the reason that we haven't gone on the offensive is because we just don't have the forces to be able to do it.
Well, remember, we don't have to do damage. We just have to make a lot of noise.
Exactly.
In fact, Pepperjack, if you have anything that could help us with that, anything you can think of? How about any of your little mages able to make some loud sounds or fake explosions, something to get the enemy's attention?
Are currently busy. That's the issue.
I think we got a couple little ones running around somewhere. One half dead trying to build a wall.
Those are
The
Wiccans.
Wiccans? Yeah,
Let's
the
not
Wiccans.
pile more onto the children, please.
Come on, children. They're probably bored building
Okay.
mud.
So the rookery, any other like targets that should be priority?
If you see, okay, you guys haven't met these yet. There are giants as well. There are undead giants essentially out there. He says if you see any of them camped together, that would probably be a good target as well. They're devastating up close.
Okay, so what are they called?
Let me check my notes. I don't remember off the top of my head. Hang on. Do.
Oh, that's not what it is.
To keep this simple, I'm gonna call wherever they're like banded together like a mini garrison or something. Just
So yeah, he says if you see their encampment, but they might be spread amongst them too, because you can actually see them from the walls, but they're sleeping most of the time unless so basically they're not standing up unless they're fighting, and they are. Hang on, did I not write it down? I could have.
Kidding me?
Damn it.
I can't select a hand-drawn thing. I have to actually erase it with an eraser tool that's got no size to it.
It's like 1 pixel wide.
It's literally 1 pixel. You've clearly done the same thing. It's just like one little pixel.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
It's terrible.
why
God
can't
damn
you
it.
just make it bigger?
Make what bigger?
The eraser.
The drawing tool. I don't think you can. I think it's all.
Doesn't it? Just has one little thing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both very tiny. They're not really useful for drawing, actually.
Yeah. I tried the very first session. I think it was. No, it was the first session. First dungeon that these guys went into. I tried to draw a map using that, and it was very inefficient.
All right. So I know that I can make a large something to get their attention to the east. And if you guys want to try to do something to get their attention to the west, and then someone can either fly the broom down, I can make them invisible if it helps, or you can turn yourself into a crazy Jurassic Park monster.
I'll go with the blending into the invisible if there's some of them that be able to see through the invisibility.
True, some of them can see through.
Pepperjack keeps calling this a suicide mission, but
Well, how about this?
Actually, be a suicide mission.
Why don't you make yourself a dinosaur and carry the broom, and if you have to, you can just try to get the fuck out.
Well, if you have the broom, I can cast darkness on the broom. Those that can see through invisibility usually can't see through my darkness spell, and
Doesn't
it
that
is
just-
night.
Doesn't that just make a giant circle of blob?
Yeah,
Yes,
big
it makes
sphere, big
a
black
giant
sphere.
circle of darkness.
Yeah, so if it's dark out, they can still see a like pitch black sphere.
Yeah.
And if it's dark out,
It's not okay. So remember, the darkness that you cast is not. It is pitch black. Okay, so darkness outside, even whether there's a moon or not, there's still ambient light. There's
Best
still stuff like
case-
torchlight. There's still
Yeah.
a backdrop of anything else like
True,
the
but I meant, like-
How
reflecting off
tall-
the mountains, etc.
How high can the broom go?
as high as I want it to,
I
like
mean, if you're like
run at
90,
atmosphere.
if you're like 90 feet up, that would probably be all right, especially since we're going to be causing a commotion.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
what I'm
mean like if you were flying right through the middle of it, they would.
no, I meant like up in the sky. Like most people wouldn't notice a dark shape like up in the sky.
You might even say up where the atmosphere. Never mind. Up
No.
where the sky is
Okay.
clear.
So you put
Is that the
you cast
Aladdin?
In
darkness-
the
Little Aladdin?
atmosphere.
Hang on.
Maybe.
So you cast the darkness on the broom, and if you're touching the object that has the darkness, you can see, right?
No, only I can see it if I use a sorcery points to do it because it's one of my spells. So if I cast it with sorcery points instead of with a spell slot,
Then
So
you can see through it,
then I can see through it.
and anybody touching you can see through it.
No,
No.
the only person that can see through it is Sarah,
So
Okay.
Sarah,
or people that can see through magic darkness, which is very very few things.
so Sarah can take the broom, cast darkness, fly up 90 feet, or fly up 90 feet, and then wait till we cause a bunch of explosions and crazy shit. Cast darkness, fly into there. Hopefully not get eaten by a giant fucking flying worm monster. 50-50. And then fly back.
Sure, if somebody wants to give me a shot first, because I hate flying up that high.
Lucky for you, I have a shot.
Of course, Pogo does. Pepperjack says, "I mean, far be it from me to prevent you from going on this mission, because that could be the difference between us surviving and not. But I mean, your entire reason for going out there in the first place. I mean, you're not forgetting that, are you?"
We're trying
No.
to save your friend.
Any idea where they might have taken her?
He shrugs. He says, "I wouldn't have any idea I wouldn't even know where to begin."
All right, so then what? Oh shit, no, because I can't see through the darkness. Never mind.
Wait,
So
Sarah?
what if-
Wait,
Oh no, I was thinking taking somebody with me and having them look around while I'm flying over there to drop the thing off to see if they can spot an area, but they can't see through the darkness either.
No, okay. So the best plan would then be for me to be in Iskil and have the broom with me anyway, because if I need to get out of there
Sure.
fast and I revert back, I could just zoom out with the broom.
and
Yeah,
get as high as you
because-
can. Try to get out of their arrow range.
Yeah, because you're going to be shot at immediately.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you'd have to.
okay.
But how
That's
tall?
Pepperjack, by the way. That's not the DM trying to dissuade you. That's Pepperjack trying to
How
dissuade
tall is it? Like when we look and see this cloud
Okay, so
cover?
basically, my best bet is to not get caught. Okay.
Just you remember, think dinosaur.
you. She's back at her elf form, just going rah rah rah.
Yes.
Leaning over.
Rah!
We have to find a dead one first.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go.
We have plenty. Oh,
find
the dead is
that.
kill. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go look for that.
think at that
and
point
then
it's
we'll
still just
finish
an
up the
iskill.
plan from there.
That's.
we'll have
I guess
to
they're all
find
dead. So that's fair.
Yeah. Why don't you see
Okay.
if you can go find an iskill?
All right,
I'm gonna talk to
then-
Pepperjack about this plan because this is gonna be hilarious for me.
All right, then Arteme is going out beyond the wall.
Yes.
Are you just going through the tunnel then to get to the other side?
Yeah.
We did kill one out there not too long ago.
Kill two
That's
of them
where
out
I'm
there.
gonna look.
I'm gonna stand just on the outside of the tunnel and watch her just to make sure she's okay.
Inside the rock,
Don't.
in the illusionary. You're just gonna step outside of the rock, the illusion.
Like just like part of my face so I can see. Like, can I see through the illusion?
Yeah, it's hazy. I mean, it's especially through the rain and everything. I'm gonna leave the rain off because it's what I think that's what I think is what killed it again. I think it's Chrome that's doing it. Anyways, so leave the rain off, but it is still raining. But yeah, you can see through it. It's just really
You,
in that
and
in
I-
the rain. It's not easy to see. So
and Norok's not there, right? I'm gonna go
no, but
relay.
you guys just left him.
I'm
and he's
gonna
just
go.
sitting there. He's sitting there with a cannibal,
it's only
just
been-
chit-chatting for like the last hour while you guys are just BSing.
Okay,
and
for
then
starters,
play.
I brought soup. I sang a lullaby. So what I'd actually do, I just now realized Nora. I looked around and like, where the fuck is Norok? I was just forgot he was.
He
So
hasn't
I'm
been
gonna-
quiet this whole time. He's just not been there the whole time.
I'm gonna go and fill Norok in on this crazy idea and see what he has to think about it, and see how he's doing.
All right. Arteme, go ahead and make a. Go ahead, Sarah.
I'm
And
just
make a what?
sticking
Sorry.
I was seeing what Sarah was saying there. What?
barely my face out. Just so
Okay.
I can see her a little more
Okay.
clearly, but I'm not like outside.
Okay, both of you make perception checks for me. And Arteme, make it with. Well, I was going to say advantage, so go ahead and re-roll because you rolled really shitty that time. And you. Oh well, okay. Sarah's roll was really awful. I thought it was just your second roll because it was awful, but. One more roll from Fox, and hopefully this one's a little better.
Okay, sorry, what am I rolling?
It was going to be perception with advantage, but you already rolled it once. So one more time.
Oh, okay.
You rolled a 2 the first time, so hopefully you roll a little better this time. Hey, you rolled a 4.
Better.
Well, at
You
least it
can
makes
tell that there is a ground.
you do, yeah. With some effort, you can tell that there's a ground, and mostly because your feet are under you is why you're able to figure that out. But you make your way out to the area, but the ground is. It seems like the terrain is almost different somehow. Like it seems like this is different than you just remembered, even though it was only like 15, 16 hours earlier. Part of it is because it wasn't raining this hard, so that like the ground is really slick and muddy. But you kind of stumble around. Sarah, you watch her kind of stumbling between these kind of broken chunks of wall of the outside ruins of Dunskathak, where this essentially was a village, like the outside of the fort. This was a village at the outside here that is 300 or 400 years ago, long time ago. But anyways, you kind of stumble through the broken walls of what used to be this little town. You're probably out there. You don't see anyone else. You know that there are crowblinders around you because this is when you came through them earlier, you saw that the scouts that were out there, but there were no soldiers out here or no visible soldiers, at least of the Vavian Legion that you can see. But stumbling around for a good while. Give me a survival check. Yeah, okay. With a lot of effort and time, it probably takes you a good half an hour. So when we skip back over to Norok and Poe, it'll be about a half hour's time. You eventually find the spot where you had left the dead Backlights and the 3 Albashar that you killed there, and the 2 Iskil. They are rain-soaked and covered in mud, and almost like sinking into the mud by now. But you did find it, and it's going to take you some time to study it. So you're going to sit down and spend the 20 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, give me nature check. And what are Pogo and Norok doing?
Well, I'm filling in Norok on everything we talked about and how the plan so far seems to be to have Arteme turn into one of the dead dinosaurs. We're going to try to make some distractions around this large area where we think all the flying beasties are living during the rain. That way, if we can get this glowing rock into there somehow, magicians are going to come down from the sky and blow them up, or at least keep them from flying. And sure, that's about it.
All right.
Sounds perfect, right?
Yeah, so we're just going to be running really fast and hoping for the best again, basically.
Yeah, we're basically winging the shit out of this. I'm pretty confident. But although I'm not going to lie, Pepperjack, not a lot of help. He was able to get a glowing rock from some magicians, and then told us it has to go in this giant question mark area that will or possibly will not help with anything at all. Oh, by the way, he also considers it a suicide mission. So if that, is good, I guess. Can you think of how's your lady friend doing here? With
Actually, she was able to help me out, so.
Oh, good.
And that mission sounds crazy, just like everything else we've done. So, why not?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what do you think would be a good way to cause some mayhem over. We're gonna cause some mayhem over on the east side where their soldiers are, and then a little over to the west side. Try to distract them so that they don't see this random dead velociraptor-looking thing walking through the ranks. The good side is she's got a broom, so she can always fly off like Mary Poppins.
Okay. Well, hey, how about you and I get in a fight? Cause trouble. So.
Like behind enemy lines? No, we need to do this behind enemy lines. I mean, unless we're gonna stand up on the wall and put on like a little show for them, I don't think the zombie guys really give a shit about that.
Yeah.
I can do a few things. So I can create some illusions. I can create like a nice giant fireball. Doesn't create heat, but it'll just light up the sky. So that might make them turn.
What?
With my minor illusion spell.
I think that's 5 foot by 5 foot max size.
Oh, that's right. I
it's
can
5
make
foot.
a 5-foot fireball, or I can make a crazy sounding boom, like an explosion coming from this side, and that should turn some heads, at least wake them up. Maybe they'll be confused what's going on in this general area, or maybe you can throw something that'll explode, and then I'll make a big sound. We can do a lot of things. I've got some ideas.
Real quick, when you asked earlier if Pepperjack had anything to, that could help as far as like making an explosion or whatever, he did offer to give you some black powder bombs.
Oh, all right, Norak. So we got some black powder bombs. We're gonna throw those, make some explosions.
Yeah.
This will be fantastic.
We can do that.
They are, by the way, the same way that the Vabians are getting in. They keep exploding the walls at the weakest points. And that's why you heard a series of explosions along the wall, and then they just poured through the spots that actually did break. That's where you guys had that fight last time.
It just might be better if I have Norak chuck one of these fucking things 200 yards out into the middle of them.
Yeah, throw some big ass grenades into the middle of them, sure.
Yep. In fact, Norak, maybe we should go kind of more towards the middle area. You can throw one or two to the left, throw one or two to the right. Maybe a couple 10, 20 yards away from where Arteme will hopefully turn into a fucking dinosaur running through the lines. I'm sorry. It's every time I think about it, it just absolutely cracks me up.
I didn't come up with this plan. So one of the best parts of it, and you'll start to see this too, Justin, like you're running from, so it's not quite the same because like the books kind of give you a few suggestions, right? When you're homebrewing stuff like this, I don't come up with a plan.
Sure.
Sometimes, especially early on when the players were brand new, then I would like come up with like and give them, use NPCs to say, here's an idea or here's an like give them 2 or 3 like options type of things. This one basically you guys all know how to play by now, so I just create a problem and then take my hands away. I just put my hands up and let you guys figure this shit out. And the plan you guys have come up with is certainly amusing. So I'm curious to see how well this play out. I'm not. By the way, I'll tell you this too. Okay, I absolutely. Let me be 100% clear about this. This is not the DM trying to dissuade you from doing something, but Pepperjack's very stern warnings were with good reason. Like there's absolutely a very high chance that you guys could just be fucking obliterated.
Well, if you think about it this way, only one of us is actually leaving.
Well, that's part of it too. Is that if you're only sending one of you, like Arteme may not. She may have to roll a new character.
The best. The thing is though,
a lot.
But
What's that?
she's got a pretty solid getaway plan.
She does.
That's pretty solid. I mean, she can fly straight up, 120 feet, and then back to us with a spell that'll cover her in darkness. So it's going to be hard to hit her. Worst case scenario, we piss off some people and she gets hurt and possibly
She doesn't have
horribly wounded.
Yeah, she doesn't have darkness.
No.
I don't think Arteme does.
Was it Serafina?
Well, Sarah has
I
darkness,
do.
yeah.
Sarah. Oh, that's right. We're not doing
But
that.
Sarah
We're
won't
doing
be
the
with her.
the Velociraptor plan. All right.
But that
should
being
have a
said,
broom!
though, Artemis does have inspiration. If you guys manage to start to do this before you guys go to sleep, she has inspiration that could be potentially useful.
Well, I'm
but
going to give everyone a blessing. At least at minimum, I'm going to bless.
all
some of
told,
us.
she has 2 first level and 2 third level slots, and that's it. All of her second level slots, and then 2 of her. Basically, she has a little less than half of her total spell slots available. So like she's has 1 potion of healing. Like you guys aren't great on resources, but time is also sensitive here as well. So maybe he's left too long, and he might kill her first. I just said he, but let's say the person that is torturing her may kill her before you guys get there if you wait too long.
And the good news, guys, is at least I have a couple spells that can last at least 120 feet. So we've got some options to at least help her out
On the way out of the way in. What's that?
on the way in.
Hang on. If I cast Pass Without Trace and then change into my animal form, would it stay on me? Because it's
Yep.
up to an hour. Okay,
Yep, we double checked
I'd be-
this. We double checked this before. Basically, if you put a concentration effect up, the concentration will stay while you're in animal form. You still have to make concentration checks if you get hit, but it does stay otherwise.
Okay, so I would be able to do that, which would let me move without leaving tracks or
Well,
traces in my path.
it adds 10 to your stealth checks. Is what it does
That too.
mechanically. But yeah,
It can't be tracked except by magical means.
Are
Yeah.
you going to be a stealthy dinosaur?
Yes. A creature
Look at that
leaves
dinosaur!
bonus
He
leaves
looks
behind
very
no tracks or other
sneaky.
trace of its passage too. So I wouldn't be leaving any tracks.
okay. I would say by now you have finished studying this as best you can. The shape is already destroyed. Like it was, you guys pretty much hacked these things to pieces, both of them. And even before that, it was already, long. It had been dead for literally hundreds of thousands of years, probably 200, 300,000. You don't have actual numbers because they didn't, there's no recorded history left from them. But anyways, it's been essentially mummified for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and then you guys hacked it to pieces. So your anatomy study is based on a very flawed individual in the first place, but you are pretty confident that you can replicate what it is that's laying there in the mud. You just don't know how convincing that might be amongst the entire group there. It may be, it may not be. You just don't have any way to know. But you are pretty sure that you can replicate what is laying there in the mud.
Okay.
Would-
Wasn't there 2 that we killed? So can I check the other one out too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Between the 2 of them,
Oh, okay.
your role kind of covers the both of that. But between the 2, that's where you're kind of, this one's missing its left leg because I think Shan bit its left leg off, like ripped its left leg off. Do you remember the one that Pogo was riding?
Yeah.
So that like where it fell, like it doesn't have its left leg is like laying in the dirt off to the side of it where it had ripped it off. So that one doesn't have its left leg, but you looked at the other one to kind of study it. And obviously, the right leg looks pretty similar anyway. But you basically kind of did the math on this to kind of make this amalgamation of between these 2 what an Iskill should look like. You think, and you did see 2 of them that were still, I say alive, but obviously undead in the desert. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you'd seen them ambulatory and actually moving around in the bright sun at that point because that was daylight, as opposed to this fight that was at nighttime.
Okay,
But you
so
have enough.
I have an idea of how they moved from a previous encounter. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Are we all back together now, or are they still outside?
Artemis, you finished studying. You can see the Vavi encampment, which is 150, 200 yards away, inside or towards Dunskathak. Your tunnel goes underneath them and then back inside, basically. So you're on the outside of the bad guys out there. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna go back in.
Okay. You find Sarah when you're passing back in. You see her face sticking out the side of a rock, just her face out the side of a rock, until you walk through it, and then the rest of her reappears. And you guys make your way back. Back in the camp, Norok is there with Sorsha, having a fun chat and having some soup and some bread. A proper little date with a half-dead woman, or probably 80% dead woman, let's say, and Pogo. So what are you guys doing?
So how did studying the dinosaur go?
Okay.
So just to be clear, you can actually take the form of a dead, necrotic dinosaur.
Yes, what's your point?
All right, I'm just you're boggling my mind right now. That's just very impressive to me. So we got some Pepperjack can supply me and Norak. I filled them in on what our plan quotes is, and we've got some fire bombs that we can throw to make some nice distractions. We can maybe back it up with some spells. I'm thinking we'll go and do this in these directions, but the next thing is, do you know of a way to get out of the walls? Because I know you can fly back in on the broom, but I don't know how you're gonna get out. The only way I can think is through that passage that we came in, and you just have to run an extra half a mile. I don't know if that's an option.
Well, wait, she can turn into a lizard, can't she? And like climb over the wall because she's got 2.
Is it like a normal sized lizard?
Yeah, I could turn into a tiny little lizard.
Oh, well, there you go. Problem solved. Then you just find some cover and then turn into the dinosaur when you find a little cover, and then it'll...
It's hard to even say that without laughing, isn't it?
I'm just picturing you doing like a Superman, where you're a little lizard that climbs into like a little telephone booth and then comes out a velociraptor, whistling like nothing happened.
It evolved really fast.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if this is our plan, I'm gonna tell you all right now. Before we try to do this, I'm gonna give you a blessing right before we go on this adventure, so that it'll help you out in your time of need if you have to make any drastic decisions. But you're gonna do that, and then if you end up in trouble, you can fly out on the broom, and we'll do our best to distract everyone else while you get back to the fort. Is that fun?
Yeah, the most I can do is 120 feet out, though.
Me too. So you gotta at least get halfway back, maybe more. Oh, this is exciting. Can't wait to watch a dinosaur walk into a shroud of mist and then watch a dinosaur walk back out like nothing happened.
If Pepperjack were still here, he'd say, yeah, she's not going to back out.
Well,
Alright, we should probably put like a time limit on this, and then I don't know how the fuck we're gonna go after her, but
I'll tell you what. Why don't you just, if you're not out of that mist, because I'm assuming that mist circle isn't that, can't be huge, right?
It's pretty good size. I mean, look at the lake in the northwest there. That whole lake was covered in mist, so you might it's not uncommon right now to areas of fog that are pretty good size. You know,
Okay.
like whole regions basically. Like the trees are pretty much covered in them, stuff like that. Because it's cold out now. It's getting late fall.
Well, I say if you're in it for more, what are we even gonna do if she's in it? Thousands of soldiers.
She doesn't
Okay,
have any way to get a message back to you either.
I could stay in beast form for
I'm-
3 hours.
I mean, your best point at that, maybe just turn into a lizard and just try to walk your way back. It might take you a day.
There's a logistics problem that I was going to say a bit ago that I didn't yet. Arteme as a lizard can't carry those beacons. They're
okay.
10 times her weight. As a baby lizard, as the Iskil, she can, if you put it on a bag around her neck or something like that. But she'll need to basically. Okay, I don't even want to say this because you guys need to figure these plans out on your own. But she's basically going to have to climb over the wall in it as a lizard, and you throw the beacon down into the dirt. And then she's gonna, turn into an Iskil, pick it up with her jaws and, try to hold it that way or something like that, because she can't carry it over as a lizard.
How far away from the walls of the castle are the baddies?
wait, but her stuff turns with her, so she can't put it.
Yeah,
in her
the
backpack?
stuff turns with me.
Hmm.
Whatever's on me turns into
'Cause-
if I have
Yeah.
when I have the bag of holding, it turns
Yeah,
into
yeah.
part of the skin
Okay, that's fair.
or whatever. That's how.
Yeah,
it works.
I originally was thinking, because this is kind of a separate device, but meaning a magic item, but the magic items that you actually have on you do turn with you. So never mind. Yeah, that would be fine.
By the way, you're not taking the bag of holding with you, are you?
Yes, I
That's
am.
everyone's things. You're gonna die and no one's gonna have anything.
All of Pogo's ill-gotten
All
gains that
of
he
my
stole off of
gold
the
that I
cliff.
found off the boat.
It
Yeah,
has
pound.
useful things I might need, okay?
Are those useful things so large you can't just carry them? I'll tell you what, you take my normal backpack, you put useful things in the normal backpack, I'll put my garbage in this backpack, Norak can hold on to this bag.
Yeah, give it to Norak. Of course, it's not you. Not you'll carry your own things.
No,
but Norak, you'll carry my things, right?
Norak can carry this bag. You can carry mine with the things you might need.
I mean, she could just, take your guys' things out and set them out for you so that she could still carry the bag of holding and not be weighted down.
Works fine also.
Because the bag of holding also kind of like lowers the weight of.
Reduces weight. The weight becomes nothing, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is why I'm able to keep everything I have on me in animal form.
Yeah.
Sure. But leave my gold.
Use it
I
to
would
pay for a rescue
entrust
mission.
to Sarah before anybody else.
You what?
Sure. Just take all the gold, give it to Sarah, and then you can turn into a dinosaur, run through the enemy.
Wait,
Play Flintstones?
all the gold? the one who prefers to be paid?
I think Artemis still owes Sarah a bunch of money anyway.
Well,
Yeah, and Nora.
And Norak, yeah.
there's not a lot of places we're going to go, but I say if you're going to go on this crazy dangerous mission, why should all of us lose out on pay? It's really just... Okay, so what about this? You can get over there. So back to my question, though. How far away Pogo looks over the wall? How much of a distance do we have from the wall to where the soldiers are encamped?
Well, Albashar are Beklites. Like, basically the real soldiers are the cannibals.
Both.
Okay, the peasant army is, like, right on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, so that's not going to work.
They're
Can't-
like 15, 20 feet back. Like
Yeah.
if you dropped a chicken leg off the edge of the wall, they'll be on it in like a fraction of a
Yeah,
second.
so we can't. That's not even really going to work. We're going to have to use the secret tunnel, and you're going to have to do the long way around. It's going to take longer, but it's really the only
But then
option
if
for this
I do
one.
it that way, I could turn it into an skill from around there and then just walk right to the area so I could last
That's-
6.
That's not a horrible idea. What if we take one of the dead backlight bodies and drop it over the wall for the Albashar?
Yeah, let's do that, but let's do that on the other areas away from.
Oh, you mean use that as a distraction, like throw bodies
Well,
over as a
we
distraction?
can use it as part of the distraction.
That and then drop bombs on them.
Yep. But here's the thing: you don't want to do it right next to the wall. We're gonna
Yeah,
have
don't blow the wall.
rock, throw the bodies, and then when they all go around the bodies, we'll throw a bomb, or we. No, probably best.
They have been. You guys would have seen by now that they've been constructing very what's the word I'm looking for? Like jury rigged catapults inside. Like basically they're weighted throwers. Like you know what a ballista is?
Yeah.
They're making those along the wall as best they can. But they're not good. Like they'll probably break at every third shot. But they're trying to construct siege weapons inside as much as they can with what little materials there are. So you could potentially use something like that to try to launch, probably not the entire weight of a full body, but cut the body in half type of thing. Plague thrower style, and launch it that way, or bombs.
Yeah, I mean the problem is we don't need that kind of range. We just need to get their attention for a bit, and we're not.
The bombs aren't super light though. Like they're not really intended for throwing. They're not grenade
Oh.
style. They're bombs. Like they're bombs for like you'd build them and then drop them in the base of a
Got
building
it.
to take the entire building down.
All right, yeah, we can use those, and we can take out a few of these guys. So what do you say? Do you want to go through we can go through that, or you can go through that secret tunnel, and just because the secret tunnel comes out at the outside of all the bad guys, so you
Yeah.
can run around on
And
the
it's
edge.
outside the ring of them too. Now,
Yeah.
initially, when I thought you guys were going to be all going as soldiers, you wouldn't have to walk through them. But if you're just a patrol that's out there and you're not supposed to be, it would draw eyes. If you're just a random Iskill running around out there, especially in the dark,
Yeah.
you might be able to skirt the entire way around the outside. There will be more stealth checks you're gonna have to make along the way, Fox. But basically for all the lines of where the Mortrolis are, to see whether anybody is going to bother coming to investigate or not. But you could potentially, run the entire way outside of the enemy ranks, and then once you get to the southeast, kind of then go through the enemies until you get to the
Okay.
foggy spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Instead of
try
having to go
that.
through all those checkpoints I was talking about. That might be the way. Well, at least if you're, since you'd already be on the outside, that's up to you if that's the route you want to take.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that then.
Okay. Time-wise, that's basically, as soon as we start that's going to take a while. And I was originally going to try to get to sleep a little early tonight because I have to work at 6:30. So
We could stop here then and then like pick up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I
we
think-
should stop and think about. We can think about what our characters would actually know and do because.
yeah, you guys can,
Man, am I not 100% positive on this plan?
Well, I mean, it's not the worst plan. It does have
It's not.
some
I mean,
some
look on the bright
feasibility.
side. It has dinosaurs. It has bombs.
It has all the stuff you need.
Yeah, it has. It's drug, sex, and rock and roll, baby. It's-
Going initially, I was thinking you'd probably end up all going, but because of the risks of just one person going alone. But that does, in this particular plan you guys have come up with, does have at least some possibilities. Now,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if Arteme gets spotted in there, she's not gonna be able to get out. Does that make sense? So just keep
like
that in mind, Fox.
not or like very unlikely.
No, I mean, just think of realistically that if you are a single spy, I mean, it's clear that you're a spy because as soon as she gets popped out of her Iskill form, she doesn't look like a Becklight then. She's not disguised. She's an elf. She's
Yeah.
just a random elf in the middle of there, which means she's obviously a spy, which means she's instantly going to be the entire, whoever is around her is going to be capturing her immediately, and then she's going to be similarly tortured. Now, we wouldn't roleplay that kind of thing, Fox. Don't worry about that in case that's something that would be sensitive for you. But let's say that you'd probably end up right next to Maibi, and you may not survive that.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. But it's not a bad plan. It's just a matter of well,
If we could pull
Okay.
it off.
the problem is that it's going to be Fox that has to make all those rolls.
Hey, she'll have my blessing though, which my blessing lasts a minute, I believe.
Yeah, and that does it. Like they don't have to be in range, right? That stays on them. Bless.
Yeah, it's just you just bless them and then
They have a minute. I think.
It's 1 minute though.
oh, it's just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Well, it'll get you through like a stealth check. How fast can that fucking thing run?
I don't know.
I'll go through the plans that I already had for some of the alchemical formula as well to see if any of those might be useful, and I'll make sure those are on your sheet for you, Fox. But if you guys come up with further revisions for it, you guys can talk it out in Discord as well. Just use the Embers channel. If you guys have ideas for adjusting the plan, we'll just assume that this is happening in narrative. You guys'
Sure.
discussion could be you don't have to discuss in character, but I mean you guys as characters could be having this discussion.
Well, that's kind
while you're
of
figuring out the plan.
that's like the big difference. Like in real life, you'd probably sit down at a table for an hour.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And
Yeah.
in the game, you're like, we got 8 minutes to figure out how to kill an army.
Yeah.
Go.
So you guys can figure out how your plan is going to work. And I would say that I'll tell it to you this way too: that the more convincing and successful the distraction plan is going to very dramatically increase Arteme's odds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got bombs.
So I mean, but thoroughly have that plan
We've
together.
got a Norok.
Yeah. So I mean, make that as believable, as distracting as you can possibly make it, and then I'll use that to kind of reduce the difficulty checks.
I've
for
got
Arteme
some
to
other
work.
ideas, and that's to get a bunch of the soldiers up on the wall to basically cheer and chant as if they're about to go to war, to get all the other people like looking at the fortress, not at the outside. Basically, we're gonna pretend like we're about to siege outward, like we're gonna do an outward attack. That's if we can convince Pepperjack to get behind it. None of them have to go behind actually outside the wall, but we're gonna make as loud and boisterous of a
feint.
fucking feint as we can to get at least. Because here's the thing about groupthink: if we can get half of the soldiers on those sides looking at us, the other half will look because those half are looking. Like
Yeah.
that'll pull them together, and then she'll be able to skirt the outside. That's my thought. I've
That's
even
good
got.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
it then puts them in the range of arrows, and I don't know that Pepperjack will be down for that.
All right, it's called a shield, guys. Fucking hold one
Yeah,
up.
I mean they could presumably make themselves visible without being as susceptible. You know
And
what
remember,
ramparts are.
soldiers don't act without orders. So unless the generals or lieutenants are coming out and ordering them to bow and fire, they're not going to do shit.
Yeah,
They're going to sit
and
there.
that word that I taught Justin when you guys found the older crenellation. Remember?
I've 100% already
walls.
forgotten. what that actually was.
That's the top parts of a castle wall.
Oh, got it.
The ramparts, the parts that you hide behind, they could basically, hide behind the chunks of the wall that are secure, and make a lot of noise, bang shields on the big swords.
We could Braveheart them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that idea.
We're gonna moon them.
Yeah, and as long as you could convince Pepperjack to order soldiers to do so.
Yeah,
all right, guys. I like where this is going. This is going to be. This is going to be
a lot of weird rolls.
It for sure is.
All
but
right.
It's an interesting plan, and I like the kind of extra creativity. I gave Pogo's inspiration as well. I'm going to throw it to Noak too. So just figure out your plan before next week. That's the 16th. Everybody good for that?
Roll intimidation to moon the enemy. Yeah, I'm good for next week.
Cool. All right. Ben, Becky.
Oh
Guys?
boy.
Yep.
All right, I'll be more active on Discord. We'll come up with a plan, guys. It'll be fun.
All right. All right, guys.
Good night, and Jeremy,
buddy.
you sleep well.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to fucking nod off for like 2 hours before I gotta work. So.
All right, nighty night.
Night, guys.
Yes.
Okay.